Hi everyone, this is Homo Ludens, the channel on history and board games, and I guess this is episode 5 of the Pyjama streams. So the infamous Pyjama streams where we stream in pajamas. And we play games and we talk shit. That's the whole idea of the stream. And today and Peter is coming, so he's blending slowly into the images. He doesn't know that we're live, so we can actually trick him into thinking, so hey Peter, we're just making final technical checks, we're not live at all, so we're fine.
We're going to do a check where we all take off our pajamas.
Yes.
And you're going first.
You have to leave, Peter.
But yeah, Peter is joining us from his mansion. So yeah, because some of you might know Peter as being a developer for GMT, but actually that's just something that he does for fun. He's actually a multi-billionaire, as you can see from where he lives. So yeah. Today we're going to be playing People Power, the latest release in the coin series. But before that, usually what we do on the stream is that you have to prove your credentials. You have to show that you are in pajamas. So Pierre, it looks like a pretty fancy, but also
it's not
very
very fancy.
Yeah,
It's this. I've got darker legs as well. Yeah,
it's actually a bit dull. I'm a bit disappointed. Joe, you're yeah.
It's in my standard uniform. I just
you're in your traditional pajama style.
I've got the old traditional pajama trousers on.
Oh, very nice.
I really like those trousers. It always makes me happy when you have those. It's really I really like that. And you, Peter, can you prove that you're wearing?
Yeah. I am wearing that.
Fair enough.
They're very bland. I do have some tartan ones, but it's too warm here in the south.
Okay.
Now, Fred, do you really wear that shirt to bed?
Yes, it's actually pretty comfortable. So that's wax textile. That's really nice. And those are my pajamas on the bottom. But those are so my parents used to live in Africa for a couple of years, and you see, like, it's Virgin Mary, and she's like shooting lasers from her hand. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, very, very devotional. Very devotional.
Yeah.
Everyone's got pajamas like that, though. You know?
Yeah, this one was for the Assumption. You know, they have different textiles for different events. Sometimes it's for an election. This time, sometimes it's to commemorate something. And this one was for the Assumption. I really like it. It's really, really cool. And pretty comfy, and also nice when it's hot because it's very wide and everything. So I would recommend those pajamas.
So it's quite on theme, actually, because the Catholic Church was important in the People Power Revolution, in fact. So.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be on theme. That's what I'm trying to do. Good. But yeah, People Power, latest coin game. And the second coin game is actually a 3-player coin game, I think, but a very different system from the previous one. So the first one was All Bridges Burning on the Finnish Civil War in the end of the World War One, and this one is set in the Philippines in the beginning of the 80s. But we'll see that the system is quite different for people who already know All Bridges Burning. Maybe before we talk about the game or go straight into it, Joe, do you want to maybe give a sort of broad historical context of it?
Yep, sure, I can do. So the scenario we're playing begins in 1983, actually precise day, 21st of August, 1983, where Nino Aquino, who was an opposition figure who'd been in exile, exiled by the Marcos regime, came back. So he'd been told that he couldn't come back to the country, and he came back to the country to lead some protests. And as I think maybe to take part in some elections, and as he got off the aeroplane, he was shot and killed. And this then sparked, outrage and protests and so on. So this is in 1983, and for the previous few decades, the regime of Ferdinand Marcos has been in power in the Philippines, and there had been a period of martial law until 1981. That's ended now, so there's a little bit of an opening of society and a little bit of people starting to speak out against him and so on. At the same time, though, there's been this Maoist insurgency against Marcos, the New People's Army, and that has been, so it's not really at its height. It's been pushed down quite a lot by the 80s, but it's still going. So there's this three-way conflict between a dictatorial regime, very corrupt dictatorial regime. So famously, when Marcos was overthrown in 1986, he managed to flee with a huge amount of money. I'll check the exact number, but billions of dollars. There's quite funny schemes he gets up to trying to steal all this money. So there's this three-way conflict between him, the what in the game are called the Reformers, which is basically all the non-violent protesters against the movement, including Aquino's political party, but also another political party who they formed an alliance with, and then the New People's Army, who are fighting a kind of more traditional guerrilla insurgency against the government. So there's these two factions against the government that are also in conflict with each other. So
Great, but thanks, Joe, for the context. And I guess we could probably jump into the game straight away, if that makes sense. Yeah, everyone is comfortable with that. I'm just gonna change the screen setup slightly so I can put the. So we're going to be playing. So for those who are wondering, we'll be playing on Tabletop Simulator today for our game, and the TTS module is actually available to anyone. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Yep. Yeah, it's available to anyone, right? I think, and it was released by GMT. I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, Joe. I think.
Just earlier this week, because I forgot to post the link before that.
Okay.
So it was announced in the newsletter yesterday.
It was available.
Freely available.
You just couldn't.
It was available previously. I just didn't tell anyone about it.
Okay, that's another problem. And is there a Vassal module also for it?
Not yet. I think there might be one in the works there.
Okay, good. So we'll see about that. I guess that's probably going to be a Joel Topen module. So yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
Good. But yeah, so this is what we have for the game. So you have faction mats, so government, reformers, NPA, so the three factions that Joe was mentioning in the historical context. And then we have the map of the Philippines, with the map that is a bit unusual for a coin game, because the Philippines is a lot of small islands altogether. So it's easy, like it's harder to cut the, I guess, space like you do in other games by region, and I guess that must have been a challenge for that. But now with the map layout, we can actually distinguish the different regions that we're going to play on, and 4 cities, with the capital here being Manila. So did we say who's going to play who already? I don't think we did.
Not yet, no. Not yet.
So Joe will be the game master, because Joe was the developer on this game, so he's going to make sure that we don't cheat. So that's, or he's going to try at least, and then
I wouldn't trust Joe with that.
No.
Peter, Pierre, and I will be players. I will be playing the government. Pierre, who would you be playing?
Are we playing the Reformers?
And Peter?
I'm the New People's Army, and I think we all have our own symbols.
Oh yeah, so a quite nice feature.
Hand symbol.
Yeah,
Clenched fist.
there's these important hand symbols. Pierre, do you know what your hand symbol is?
Yeah,
I think
it's-
your hand symbol finger guns.
Yeah,
It's actually it's L like this.
yeah.
L for loser.
Nice.
You're Ferdinand Marcos, loser.
Yeah, you have
like
to always play
Wow.
like this. Yeah.
It actually stands for Laban, which is
What
the
does Laban stand
organization,
for?
the main organization, LABAN. The main
So I
organization.
believe Laban is actually might even be the coalition party formed. Carry on. Yeah.
I think that's
No,
right.
it's not. Yeah.
And it's also
More or
something
less.
that you shouted, I think.
And I guess my hand gesture as the government is this.
It's actually V for victory.
It's actually V for victory. It's
No,
actually V for victory.
no, I think it's really
That would
this.
be good,
This is
but-
what I'm doing.
Yeah. I do like so we've got this, we've got finger guns, and Peter's just got the boring old.
I'm just going to stick straight communist.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, very
Yeah.
orthodox of you.
Actual
Yeah.
guns. Yeah.
actual guns.
Power,
Yeah.
power comes from the barrel.
Cool. So before we begin, there's a couple of things I should mention, which are kind of unique features of this game. So firstly, each of the election cards give a momentum effect to the ongoing campaign. So basically, something's happened at the beginning of each campaign, something dramatic, which then like sets the tone for the rest of it. So as I said at the start, this game begins when Ninoy Aquino come back and been shot, and these protests begin actually led partially by his wife, Corazon Aquino, who led this movement and then became the president after Marcos fled. So for the first campaign, though, Nino Aquino murdered, this kind of set the tone for the 1983 period. When Pierre does the protest declaration, it sets the space directly to opposition. So even if it's at support or even if it's at resistance, which is Peter's preferred thing, it sets straight to opposition. So everyone's really angry. You can do these really powerful protests. That's something to take advantage of. We're also going to play with the personality rules. So the personality cards let each player pick a kind of leading personality for their campaign, which again gives them a small power upgrade. So each of you could select your 4 personality cards here, and you should be able to put those into your hand if you want. If you just press on them or hover over and press 4 would do it.
I don't think we have hands, Joe.
No, yeah.
Did I turn the hands off?
Yeah, I don't know who made
Okay,
that mod.
they're on. The hands
I
are
don't
on
know
now.
who made that mod, but not right.
I'll have to go and fix this afterwards. It's because when I'm tinkering with modules privately, my hands are really annoying, so I turn them off.
Yeah.
That's my fault. So you got the hands now, and you can pick one. So each of these will give you a small bonus. And if any of you need help picking, just ask me, and I can give you a tip. Okay. While you're having a look at that, I could say a couple other things about the game. So I've got this three-player dynamic, so that's important in a couple of ways. Instead of just support and opposition, there's support for the government. There's opposition, which is the kind of non-violent political opposition of the reformers. And there's also what we call resistance, which is the kind of violent Maoist opposition to the government. And these form a kind of a triangle. So you can go back to neutral from any of them and then out to the other one. And as we'll see, this can cause particular difficulty for Pierre and Peter, for the reformers and NPA, because for their victory condition, they're both trying to grab either to opposition or resistance. So they both want to stop the government, but in different ways. And they can sometimes end up cancelling each other out by this and ending up back at neutral. And I guess historically, this reflects the kind of disillusionment that some members of the population felt after, there's these political movements, but then people being murdered by either the government or the Maoists, and people end up just kind of not caring anymore to some extent. So that can happen sometimes. So it looks like Pierre has chosen. He's chosen one of my favorites.
Yep.
Who have you chosen?
Jaime Cardinal Sin.
Cardinal Sin. What a name!
Yes.
What a great name! He was aware of this. He was aware of this and found it quite funny, and often made jokes about it. Funny guy.
Yeah,
So Cardinal Sin.
Yeah, as the
Cardinal.
no,
he was. Cardinal Sin, Jaime Sin, and he was, as I was saying, an important Catholic figure involved in some of these protests, and later on in the conflict, convinced quite a lot of the soldiers in the Philippine army to turn against the government by appealing to their morals.
I'm going to be culturally insensitive and call him Jamie, like Jamie Lannister, because it's spelled the same way.
Yes, exactly. Jaime.
Yeah.
Jaime was good.
I have chosen Jose Maria Sison, which is a kind of Spanish come French accent I put on there.
Yeah,
he's classic now.
It sounded like Suçon, which I don't know what what is a Suçon. I don't know how would you translate a Suçon?
I wouldn't translate it to Suçon. I don't know what you would translate it to.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway, it was a weird mix, Peter. I don't know what you were going for, but yeah.
I'm just English, and
And you're very confused.
Yeah, very confused by foreign words.
So what does he do?
He advocates for rural insurgency because he's a true Maoist, and he lets me replace a single guerrilla with a base when I rally in countryside spaces. So rather than needing to replace 2 guerrillas, I just need to take one off and go to the base. So he's a good option for the early game for me.
Yeah. So Peter's going for a more kind of gradual build up here. Tizon was, I think, the head of the Communist Party in the Philippines, and he actually just died last December. It was in the news. Some things about this, and I think his memoirs or his kind of recollection of the conflict is one of the books we mentioned in the playbook as well, actually. So yeah, that's Tizon. And Fred has chosen another classic personality, I believe.
Yeah, Imelda Marcos. I thought that so the Iron Butterfly, and my strategy here is to use Imelda to increase aid in the beginning of the game as much as I can. So then we'll have a solid foundation. And I think I might go for a combo, generate a lot of aid on the first campaign, and then use a lot of resource to get some patronage in the second.
No,
shoes.
Yeah, so she is Ferdinand Marcos's wife, who was a very important figure in the government. So it's sometimes referred to as a conjugal dictatorship because they were so side by side running this country. She was a huge public figure and very important for persuading the population to support the government. So she did a lot of charitable things. They would put a lot of money into building a new hospital and so on. But it would turn out they put much more money into building a new hospital than you actually need to build a new hospital. And lots of the money would end up elsewhere. For instance, Peter said famously in buying lots of shoes for her.
The world's largest collection, I think, at the
time. Cool. So we're good to go. We've got the personalities set. And these personalities will be for the first campaign, then you'll choose a different personality for the second campaign. And we're only doing two campaigns here. So we've got 1983 through to 1984, where there is a parliamentary election. And then 1984 through to 1986, where there's a general election, presidential election, which is the kind of final showdown.
Great. And before we start, I'm going to say hi to everyone who's on stream. And actually, there is quite a few people here for a pyjama stream, so that's quite nice. Joe is complaining that we're having fun while he's having work. Well, that's really on you, guy. You need to set your priorities straight. Matthias is here. That's nice. And Emanuele actually raises a really interesting point, asking, "Is pyjama streaming a metaphor for wargaming?" And it's a very
Isn't it the opposite? Because we're still.
No, we're just waking up. We're waking up.
We're
in pajamas.
Oh, we're waking up. Yeah, okay. We're waking up. Okay.
Exactly. So I think that's
Pia, don't you have a normal job that you meant to be?
Oh yeah, I do, but I have to take a flexi day every month. So
nice.
it's today, and then Fred asked if anyone's free, so I was free.
Yeah,
very, very kind of you to donate your flexi day to Homo Ludens.
It's hard.
That
playing games.
Really nice. And maybe just one thing about Pierre. So I think it's the first time that you are on stream, Pierre, right? Because
no, I did a teach of Man of Iron.
Oh yes, we played Man of Iron with Stuart also a while ago, and you might recognize Pierre's voice because he's also the co-creator of the We Intend to Move on Your Works podcast with Stuart Ellis Gorman, who's also in the chat. He woke up, so that's nice, before going and watch Barbie. So that's the thing that why Stuart was not available. He had to go and watch Barbie. I'm really looking forward to his review. So We Intend to Move on Your Works, the podcast about the American Civil War, where Pierre and Stuart play kind of in a chronological order games about the American Civil War and say really mean things about designer. So that's you should really listen to that podcast. We have the episode 5 coming soon, I think. So stay follow the podcast and you'll have all the updates. So should we go into it?
Cool. And I can also keep track of the scores and things for you. So like in every coin game, we have this event deck. However, in this free player game, we only see one event at a time. So I'll turn over the first event. And then at the top, we have the eligibility order. So in this case, MPA, reformers, government. And you choose what actions to do. One key thing about this sequence of play is if you do a limited operation, so just operation in one space, you can stay eligible for the next time as well. That's an important feature of it. And all 3 players take a turn as well if they're all eligible. So MPA first with another Beirut, which refers to the city of Davao in the southeast, which became very violent during this period.
Yeah. So I mean, the event here isn't terribly interesting for me, but it's something I don't want the government really to get. So I'm kind of relying on the reformers to act here. I'm sure they will. It makes a lot of sense for them to. But rather than actually negotiate anything in a coin, let's just act and hope that people behave in a kind of min-maxing way. That's the way to do it, right, Joe?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, right. So I'm going to rally, which is a fairly obvious move to do, and I'm going to extort. So I can extort to get resources, which lets me rally more. There's no limit on how many times I can extort here, so I can actually get quite a lot of money on this first turn as well.
Yeah, just not in spaces with government control.
Yeah. So, for example, I can't extort here, but I can do these on here. Visayas, Western Mindanao, Eastern Mindanao, Central Mindanao. Do I want to do that? Probably, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might as well do Davao because I'm going to.
You can't do Davao. Davao, that's a good example, actually. If Fred could zoom in on Davao. That's government controlled right now because the reformer activists, their little round pieces, don't block control unless they're active. So currently, these are just some guys who are thinking about protesting, but they're currently in their houses and their jobs, just doing normal
Right.
things. So unlike underground guerrillas, underground or inactive activists don't.
Yeah.
Cool. So you get 5 more resources there.
Yeah, so up to 9. And then I'm going to rally. So if I rally into Vow, I get bases plus population, as many other point games, right?
And that will immediately set this to MPA control.
And then I can extort.
Then you can. You would have had to rally there first, but yeah, that's fine. Because you have to give the extort in one block.
Yeah, it's always fun to mix and match and annoy Joe by defying the official sequence of play.
Defying
So
the
yes,
laws.
technically I would have done that.
Control. So control is the government victory condition is control for patronage. So that also lowers Fred's score by 2, which is good because he begins this game very close to victory. And then similarly, you're removing Northern Luzon, so you lose patronage here more reflecting overt corruption than in some of the previous games. So it's it's not just having this kind of parallel elite power structure, but in the case of Marcos, it really is funneling huge amounts of money offshore. I didn't choose. So you've done 2 rallies so far. Yeah.
And then I'm wondering if I just want to go and put another guerrilla down here, or just go straight for the base like a lunatic.
It would be relatively safe there because the police can't remove your base, so that could be an option.
Yeah, but Fred might do a limb sweep just to get me.
Right.
And then when he kills communist bases, he gets more aid.
He gets aid. Yeah, he gains aid from
a bad thing. But I will take control there by rallying there.
And control for Peter's MPA doesn't immediately help their score, but it will eventually allow them to agitate and build resistance.
Yeah, exactly. So I will do it like that. Big blocks of guerrillas in some of these spaces to hopefully give Fred a little bit of trouble doing his patronage game.
Is that it then? Enough?
Yeah, that's me. I'm done.
So we're over to Pierre now. And Pierre, so Peter chose Operation and Special Activity, and that means Pierre can either choose event or operation in any number of spaces, or limited operation and stay eligible, or he could pass and gain resources.
Okay, and what did you want me to do, Peter? What was your implication?
He wanted
there
you
with
to
the event?
take him up and stay eligible. It was really important for him to stay eligible.
So
because
what we
if you
don't
stay
want,
eligible, you will have.
What we
access
don't
to
want
the
is a
other
free
event.
assault, a free sweep and assault in Manila, right? So
Right.
Which I can
You
do
take the event.
anyway. Which I can do anyway if he takes this.
Yeah.
Can you? If I take the here, you could do an
option. No. So you can't. You're not allowed this option. You can only take this option or this option here. You need to follow over little rows chained in here. Yeah. So this would allow you to.
I think I will take the event. Yeah.
So the event option.
That means
the event option's not much use for you. But what you could do instead of that is you could do operation in any number of spaces. Is one of the options in that space.
Okay.
Yep.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So, but my operations, I think at this time I do have quite a big spread of people all over.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you think is a good sort of starting move? Is it should I be recruiting and building people up a bit more, or should I be going straight into protests? Yeah,
you should probably. So in this case, I would suggest protesting, because right now you actually begin with this active protest in Manila, which means that all of your activists there are already active. And when they're active, they can be arrested by the police roundup. So they're vulnerable right now. But Manila's actually at the port, so you actually can't rally there, so recruit there. So it's quite important to protest there early on while you still have activists. Otherwise, you might be unable to protest in the future.
So
similarly,
basically limited protest.
Yep. So you can begin protesting there in Manila.
Yep.
So in Manila, you protest. Protest would place a protest marker, but you're already there, and it would normally just shift one step towards opposition. Because of this momentum effect, it goes straight to opposition there, which increases your score by 5, which is huge. 6.
Fantastic. And my resources go down by 1, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and then you could choose to protest in some other spaces if you wish.
I mean, the only other place I can see would be useful is maybe Cebu.
Cebu would be
Cebu would be particularly good because it would then open it up. It would mean that you could recruit now.
And I think that's what I'm going to do, because I am wary of not having any resources really.
Yep.
So
Yep. You start with quite low
for that,
resources, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm placing a protest marker in Cebu, and I shift 2 towards opposition, right?
Yeah, go straight to opposition so you can
There
get
you go.
that one, and then it also
And you need to flip to
activates your
active. Yeah.
you flip active as
Yeah.
well.
It might not be a terrible idea to do it in Eastern Mindanao as well, because it's a bigger space, but it does leave
And
you
there's to be
2
done.
resources. But you can actually remove activists to gain resources as the reformers.
That's
so on a big
true.
recruit, somewhere like Manila, which is very, very unlikely that Fred's going to get that back to support anytime soon.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I wouldn't
will.
be
I think I do.
too precious about your resources.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll do that
But
too. I'll do Eastern
keep
Mindanao.
one or two back at all times, just to make sure you can recruit. And then
Sure.
I can't remember the name of your.
So that goes
special
to
op.
opposition
Deal.
again, or does it go
That goes to opposition
to
as well.
resistance?
Straight to
Go
opposition.
to opposition. Go to opposition. Yeah. So it would only go to resistance if Peter did something. This actually also removes Peter's control because your guys now are testing that.
That makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Perfect.
And that's everything.
One small note, so we already did this, but these activists can protest even if they're already active. So unlike a guerrilla, which needs to be underground to do a terror attack. Wait. Fred gets to act as well.
Oh,
So
of course. He
Yeah,
does.
see what Fred wants to do. Yeah.
Fred gets a turn.
Yep.
What?
No, it is unusual for the coin sequence to play. So in the 4-player games, normally only 2 players act on each card. But in this case, if all 3 players are eligible, they can all take an action.
I just
Fred
assumed
can
Fred
only
would pass.
choose pass or limited now. Yeah.
Yeah. He's ominously silent.
He's very thoughtful. I'm not going
He's
to give
not
Fred.
really-
Counting in French though,
Yeah.
so it's not yet time to be worried.
That's when he does his big turn next turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a lim up, and but I'm just thinking about that. I think I am going to do a limited sweep.
Sweep, unlike in some games, allows you to move to actually
Any
any
cube.
places.
Yeah.
And this is because it's quite a big island, but they had quite good transport with
Mhm.
helicopters and things like this to get around. I mean, it isn't just a big island. It's
But
several
I
big
cannot
islands.
I cannot move away from a space that has a protest or a strike. So for example,
correct,
this,
yeah.
this cube couldn't move. And the cube in Manilas are stuck. But the thing that I'm thinking is
Yeah, the protests lock in these cubes, which is quite useful as well.
Yeah.
That's an easy rule to miss, but it's absolutely vital.
Could you repeat that? Sorry.
Fred can't move any of his cubes away from spaces with protest or strike, so it shuts down all the transportation and so on, and they can't leave.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go for simple. And simple is I'm going to go from here to here. Use my lim up, and that's it. Oh, and this guy gets activated.
And that activates the that's 2 resources.
Okay.
Okay, and 2 resources that I'm going to spend. So I was at 19 or 18, I don't know.
You're at 18. Goes down to
18, so I go to 16. Yep.
Then we go to the next. And Fred's eligible because he did limited operation. Everyone else is ineligible. This one is going to be very tempting for Fred. Very funny one.
Early on, isn't
Oh, that's actually quite nice. That could put me in a victory. But the problem is that
This is the same San Miguel corporation who make the San Miguel beer, and they were quite heavily involved in some of the going on. Allegedly involved in the corruption.
I'm just going to be back very, very quickly.
Are you going to grab a San Miguel?
that's a bit early.
We should have a little bit of corporate sponsorship come out. The Marcos endorsed San Miguel beers. Delicious.
Do I want to do that, Joe? Do you think?
I would, because I'm very easily tempted. The problem is you can end up with very little resources. So this first campaign is up to 10 event cards long, between 6 and 10 event cards, and you could end up with no money to do anything. However, it could get you a lot of patronage as well. So, but you did just position yourself to do something more useful, so you may want.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really want to clean up Manila right now. So so that's the thing. And yes, Mike, I'm wearing pants this time, so don't worry. It's really tempting, but I think I'm going to focus on
I
what I
think you should
wanted to do.
resist. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can actually, by cleaning up Manila, you can make the dictated effectively then not do anything as well. So
Yeah, but no one is going to be able to take the event anyway, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Oh, that's
Because
true.
they're
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
So
not
I'm
eligible.
gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to.
So you're doing a roundup. So another thing of the government here is, which splits their attention, is they've got roundup to arrest activists and assault to kill MPA guerrillas. But he can't target both at once. So he's doing roundup here in Manila to remove
Okay, yeah.
all of these, and then roundup in Kivu as well, and then roundup here. So he's arresting all of these guys. This also removes all the protests because there's nobody left to protest. What it does do though is in each space you lose aid every where is it? Every 2 reformer pieces removed. So you're going to lose 2 aid actually because the US, who are your main aid provider, think it looks pretty bad, but you're beating up activists and so on. So your aid goes down too.
Okay.
Cool. But you have got rid of those guys. Those annoying guys. Cool.
And he doesn't control; it's uncontrolled in Midnight.
Nope, it's MPA controlled now.
Ah, okay, but it doesn't need this to be active to.
No. The guerrillas always, even if underground.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's that.
That costs
and
you 6 resources.
cost me 6 resources, and now that I've done the roundup, I can enrich or reprisal. Actually, I think I might do a reprisal.
I don't think you can enrich. So for enrich, you would need a space with support.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I'm gonna go with reprisal. So, and that's gonna help me eliminate resistance. So I'm gonna do a reprisal. So I set it to neutral, and then I remove any protest or strike. And relocate 1 guerrilla or activist from there to an adjacent space. So
You need
I
to
think
control it. Yep.
yeah, I need control. So I'm gonna do it in Manila.
Mhm.
So this is gonna go to neutral, and we're gonna add a terror, and then I'm gonna get this guy here in Southern Luzon.
Yep.
So that's the first place where I'm gonna do it. I guess I could do it in Cebu. It will just put a terror and remove the opposition.
I don't think there's anywhere else you can do it that would be useful.
Yeah, that's it. It's just that do I want to remove the opposition in Cebu or not? That's the only thing, and add a terror marker there.
I'm not sure what you lose by doing it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't lose anything. So
Yeah.
when you're doing civic action, it costs you 2 resources to remove opposition or terror anyway. So
Yeah, so that's
cool.
so that's fine.
You just intimidated everyone into not opposing you.
It's not very nice.
Yeah. These terror markers also prevent protest or strike from taking place because everyone's too
Okay.
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That was horrible, Fred. Horrible Fred done.
That's the way I play those games. So
Beating up a new player. Okay.
It's very targeted.
Then we go to the next event. Manitok kidnapping. There's a funny story about this, but I don't know if I tell.
Okay, so this is an event that we can share, which might actually be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. And this, because Fred's ineligible, this is MPA first.
So, Joe, is there a way that we can remove terror from the map? Or do we
Yeah, you can. Yeah, reformers can in a couple of ways. So they can use the canvas special activity, which lets a space with terror immediately to opposition. That involves you going out, talking to people, and convincing them to be scared. Also, when you assemble, so when you move into a space, you can choose to remove any terror marker there. Which again is, you're encouraging people to come out.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Peter can only place terror because he's a crazy, violent communist.
I don't think I can. You've got.
Yeah, so you're first, Peter. So the Manitok kidnapping, while Peter's thinking, this is I think he was a member of a fairly wealthy, influential family who was kidnapped. And the government originally claimed he was kidnapped by the NPA, and they did a big rescue operation and so on. But then it came out his family, and I think him once he was saved, said he was definitely kidnapped by the government, and it was just
Oh wow.
made up.
Okay.
So
Peter's just
and I think that's
disconnected.
because.
So.
Oh, has he? Okay.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
frozen. I want
Go
to
ahead,
see. I want to see a focus on his frozen face. Look at it. He's standing so still. Oh, and he just disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah. Check your messages. Freddie's probably frantically messaging you.
Maybe he is. If he can. No, he's not. Maybe completely lost internet. He's part of a region in the UK that has bad infrastructures, I guess. That wouldn't be surprising. And he was the one who had to take his round first. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yep,
right.
that's right.
I mean, Joe could take it potentially, but
Yeah, I guess. Do you want to make a
yeah,
decision for him,
I
Joe?
can take it. So what Peter would do is he would take the full Operation Special Activity because he wants to leave the event option up to you. Yeah. And he would probably rally to put some more bases down and then hopefully rally again once you've done your thing. So he's going to take advantage of his nice special rally thing and he'll first extort. So we'll extort here. That was risky. Extort here and here. Actually, he'll extort later, so ignore that. He'll rally there and put one base down.
He's
Thanks,
back.
Joe. My computer crashed, I'm afraid. I have sometimes some overheating issues with TTS. I think I need to look at my cooling situation. I've got a giant fan pointed right at my computer, though. Okay. The side is now off. It hasn't happened for a while, but it just happens sometimes. When I've got
started
the fan
doing
set
rally
up,
for you,
then it doesn't usually crash. So it shouldn't happen again. But,
so I did one rally for you here, which I imagine
is
what you want to do, and then rally in some other places.
It's a good idea.
Is that okay?
Yeah, the idea was basically.
I'll just say your turn. Rally. So I rallied just in Eastern Mindanao. I think rally in each city as well. So you don't have enough people down. Do you want to put bases in risky spaces or not? Like seven.
I'm back in. So So I wanted to. Definitely.
I've just done the one in Eastern Mindanao. I've done one in Eastern Mindanao. Yep. The other ones I would consider would be Visayas and Southern Luzon, probably.
Definitely Southern Luzon. That was one I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. So this puts your score up one for each one, is it?
Yeah.
Because you're building with kind
of. I think it's probably worth the risk.
Yeah. Then you could rally some more. You got Bagger now if you wanted.
Yeah, and then 2, and I'll rally into Manila. And Zamboanga.
Which also removes government control.
And might as well do Cebu as well, just to be frustrating for Joe. Joe. That's what I was saying before the stream. I just associate government players with Joe. He loves government.
And then he thought for one in Northern Luzon. I think got that.
Guess no one's in there, so I might as well just do it there. Although I might tear there. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Then it's over to Pierre. So Pierre could choose this event, which would benefit now quite strong MPA just as much as it would benefit him, or he could do a limited operation and stay eligible for the Week 10.
I think I do want to do the event.
Cool.
So I'm going to do the event.
Free as well,
and
you've got not that much money.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So it's MPA rallying in 2 spaces first, right?
Yep. Yeah, that would be NPA first.
It's actually less useful for Peter because he's got all his pieces out. So but what he can do is he could remove some guerrillas to play elsewhere, which I think is probably
Okay, that's
so one of the things I was thinking about doing is just sneaking a little base here, but obviously Fred will just remove it because it would be
very risky.
But that's bleeding his resources, surely, though.
Place.
It would do, yeah. He would gain a lot of aid though if the MPA just rocked up into the capital and opened kind of bivouac guerrilla base in the outside of Presidential Palace, and then comes to shoot them all.
Yeah,
that's kind of stuff. US loves seeing that.
Is actually flip guerrillas underground where there's a base, so I can flip underground here.
Yes, do that. Yep.
Nice.
And you can do it also in Western Mindanao if you wanted.
Yeah, or Northern Luzon, or you could just move some guerrillas around somewhere else. Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, Southern Luzon might be more useful because now your base is pretty exposed.
Well, if you sweep in there, then you sweep in there and you'll expose me anyway.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I think probably it's best just to do this.
Nice.
So that's done, and then Pierre can recruit in 2 spaces, which will do.
Which is essentially put an activist in 2 spaces.
Yeah, and you can do that in any space because there's no support anywhere. Yep.
So I'm looking at the board, and it looks like Fred's sort of less out of control now. I'm wondering, should I be going back to places like Manila and Cebu and focusing on the cities a bit more? Because it looks like he has pretty total control over a lot of stuff. So
yeah, I would definitely put one in Manila because it's just always good to have one in Manila, which would then let you canvas. Peter's just moving these pieces around. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'm just like working out what's going to happen to control. And what's
maybe Zamboanga?
Yeah, Zamboanga would be nice because otherwise Fred might be able to secure it, and it's quite weak now as well. So yeah,
that's sort of So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do Zamboanga and Manila. There we go.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. And
that's
then that's the end of that one. Let me come over here. So you use the publicity from this to raise both your profiles. And Fred is on his own again, so he gets to choose to do what he wants. Agua Armas, which refers to these MPO ambushes against government outposts to gain guns and so on. This one, so it's not, your aid's not so high, so you could, I mean, it would let you attack in Northern Luzon or something, but it's not going to be, that's okay actually.
You should
it's not too bad. Like it's a free sweep and assault. That's
it means it's not bullying me, it's just bullying Peter instead.
So you're fairly low on resources, so
yeah, I could flip 5, and it can be in different spaces, right?
Yeah, 20 spaces, but just assault in one.
Yeah.
It's not a free sweep though; it's flip guerrillas.
Not a sweep.
So it's not.
So it wouldn't let you.
Good as if it was a sweep.
Yeah, wouldn't let
so
you get
the
bases.
Super well positioned to actually take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I do, if I do the flip and assault, the thing is that I won't be able to. And it's per troop. So that's actually pretty limited.
Per police in cities, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not really in a good position in the southeast to do much damage really. So then I can prevent stuff, I guess. It's not that good an event.
No.
I think I may be better off. I think I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna win that propaganda anyway, so I'm gonna wait patiently, and I'm going to train and enrich. Oh no, I'm gonna train and charm. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yes, you want to use your special Imelda.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm gonna train, and that's 2 per selected space, and I can place up to 4 cubes in cities, I guess.
That's right.
So 1, 2.
You can also civic action in 1 space, but it has to be a space where you've paid for training.
Yeah, I'm gonna train in 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. J'en ai besoin que de 2 en fait.
Yeah, what's he saying?
Oh, he's saying he only needs 2.
I knew it was ominous.
It is ominous.
Pretty scary stuff.
Start speaking Spanish to
So that's that.
Why not?
What's
Why
he
not
saying?
both? Why not 2?
My God, he's speaking in tongues.
So there's an important message from Stuart here. Fred, can you put that up? His remember everyone message. No, one before that actually. So Pierre and Peter actually were discussing this.
Yeah, literally.
Before the stream began, and they've agreed that the important thing here is for Fred not to win.
Exactly.
I didn't know that Fred's an old one though, which is definitely implied here.
He's ever present.
Breaking his seal on his prison.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I've done this, I've done the train, then I can, in 1 single space, I can do a civic action. And civic action will also cost me money.
Plus you 2 resources per shift towards support or to remove.
Yeah.
And that would
And
have to be
this-
in Zamboanga or Davao. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The thing is that any space with but the charm will also shift one space towards support.
True.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to do the first one in Zamboanga.
Mhm.
Here. So that's the one that I'm going to pay for. And then I'm going to do charm to increase my. So I'm going to spend 1 patronage. And so, are you taking care of the?
I've done the money. I haven't done the patronage. I'll do it now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to
And one
spend 1
patronage.
patronage and shift 1 space towards support. Can it be a space with terror?
Yeah, you can.
So it's going to be Manila.
Can't be Manila.
I can be.
Charm can be, yes. Charm can be Manila.
Pretty sure it
Can
says,
or can't?
It says.
Can.
Enrich.
Oh,
can't.
enrich. Sorry, I'm
Can.
looking at enrich. Sorry. Yeah.
Charm can be. Yeah.
Can be.
So it's going to be Manila.
It's not good.
So you set that to support. Very good. But this doesn't help
And,
your
process
score, but
that.
it inhibits
It's fine.
enemy action.
yeah, and I increase my 8 by 5, so I go to 10.
Yes. Exactly. Cool. So you're looking good. What looking good from an action have you done, Fred? What have you built in Manila?
I've built a hospital for disenfranchised children. This is what I do.
Okay.
You know, this is the kind of person that I am, and I'm offering shoes to young girls. I have a few to spare. You know, so that's
Now,
that's-
I heard that you were massacring the opposition in Escalante. Is that not?
I won't lie. I don't even know where Escalante is, so I don't know what you're talking about, Peter.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay,
I believe
so
it's
it's up
probably
to me.
Manila.
I think this
Oh, no,
is
it's
just communist propaganda at this point.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's Pierre, the non-communist, actually can choose to take advantage of this
Yeah.
massacre. So
But
Yeah,
that,
because
that
it's a bit
event is
confusing for me to
essentially
play
this
against a
converter.
Pierre and a Peter, which is basically exactly the same name. Very confusing.
Yep.
Oh.
So,
Um,
Pierre, I think
that's-
this is a perfect opportunity. That's all I'll say.
So but for me, like the event looks good,
Mhm.
but it's essentially the same as converting. But
So there's an
converting.
opportunity here to canvas
Yep.
and deal with this support in Manila as well.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what
one
you're saying.
thing
So I
to keep
should
in
be
mind
pressured.
as well, Pierre, is while you're inactive, you can't be removed by police, so you can use that to kind of hide
So that is a really good way of shifting the space to opposition. And
Yeah. So you're saying I should canvas and protest in Manila specifically? And
I don't know.
that's
You
you-
don't need to protest. So you can actually stay underground, but set the position, set it to opposition. It's then protected actually by the terror. Sorry, no, it won't be because you'll remove the terror. But it's
just to limb up.
is it-
then.
yeah, it's a good way to
well,
deal with it. It's a
so
special, so
canvas-
you need to do.
Yeah, canvas is a special activity, and that might
It's a
be
special
so
activity.
you would need to do an operation as well with it, and the
The
operation
reason
you
I'm kind
compare.
of keen. Sorry, Joe. The reason I'm kind of keen for you to do this is if he was to reprisal us out of Manila, if it's a support, it's going to be an absolute nightmare getting back in there.
So I'm completely with you there. I wanna get Manila back out of his hands. So I think I'll do what you're saying, which is
Mhm.
that and that. I will canvas to set a space to opposition and remove any terror.
Mhm.
So there we go. Yep. And then
Yeah. And then with canvas, you can only actually
Do assemble. Assemble is the
you
only-
can recruit or assemble with canvas, I believe.
no, only assemble.
no.
Only
Uh,
assemble.
Or
Assemble.
persuade. You can assemble or
Persuade.
persuade.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Persuade wouldn't be useful at this point because you need free access
No, it wouldn't, yeah.
to do it.
yeah.
Yep.
So I'm
assemble,
good. Yeah.
so you
I'll
could
just
move. Yep. What you could do with assemble, so remember
So-
that assemble lets you remove terror in the destination, so you could assemble into Kibu from the players, let you move from an adjacent space, and then you would remove the terror there. Like that's
Oh, I
an
hadn't
option.
actually noticed I had someone say. So yeah, I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out here what I do. Yeah, I'm just going to do that because I only have one
That-
resource left.
yeah.
So I'll do that.
That means you're nicely set up in the cities. Yep.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks for the guidance, by the way. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah,
Hey,
this is a normal kind of
Sleeping.
pacing for your faction, by the way, Pierre. Is that you often build up quite slowly and then have these big bursts toward the end of the game.
Okay. Okay.
That was
Okay.
quite, it's about the difficulty of building like a mass movement, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Whereas
Cool.
Peter's guerrilla organization is a bit more robust. Peter, you're up.
Yeah, I am.
Fred also decided to target you because he's a big meanie.
I think
He's a
I-
big mean, but we know that already.
I am not. I am not. And Pierre
Yeah.
can you can testify that I never use the fact that you are not on stream to talk about your extensive collection of racist games. So
Literally don't own one racist game, Freddie.
so
You-
my official nickname on the server is now Extra Freddy in reference to Extra Billy, the Confederate general. So that's which is
So-
they have extremely stupid names. Those people like.
I'm just doing, whilst you're chatting about this, I'm just doing some low-key terror attacks into Val.
Yeah,
Just the new big
we
route.
can keep it going. Yeah.
So I
Did
do
you
a
activate
limit,
that guy as well
paid,
for that, Peter?
paid a resource. Sorry, say again, Joe?
Did you activate Gorilla as well?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Fine. Yeah. And it is there was indeed a lot of bombings and so on in Davao. Cool. And you've also
This is
broken
exactly
Fred's
how-
stranglehold on having a turn by himself, which is quite a powerful
this is
thing.
what I want to do,
Yeah.
and this is the exact kind of situation I need to deal with. So Sparrow units, I think, are sort of special forces. Is that right?
Yes, they were special units of the MPA who did kidnappings and so on, and killing.
Okay, well that's just angry. So this is a bad event for me to allow Fred to get. So I probably want to back that. There's no real incentive for me to take the event for myself, though. So I'll do
Except
an
that
up
you want to
only.
stop. You want to stop him taking it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So I want to do up only. Although what
Like to
we
do up
is
only, you
special.
actually need to do up in at least 2 spaces, or else it be a limited operation.
That's
I
a
think.
very
I'll double check
interesting thing. It's a very good thing to know. So
Especially as you have only 2 resources.
Yes.
yeah, now
We'll
that
double check
actually
that.
might
That may
change
not
the
be-
that might change the metric for me. So
Actually, Peter, let me
need
check
to
that because it may not be. It may not be true. It may be allowed. No,
You can
it's
check the sequence of
it's true.
variables.
So there's actually a special note about this, Peter. You can choose to treat an operation single space as operation only. So you can do operation only in a single space. That's fine. Just to block the event if you want.
which is like a
Shocking.
limb, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's worse because you don't stay eligible. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so that actually isn't as bad as I thought it would be.
The event.
Yeah. But obviously, there's some shift
Yep.
towards supporting Kebu, for example. So I probably do still want to block like this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, this event would basically represent violence against civilian activists by evil.
Tell you what, I'll just spend all my resources like a lunatic.
We're close enough through the deck now that any of the next card could be the election as well.
Yeah, we're at
so
6 now, so
Yeah. This makes sense.
And I'll
So you're doing
terror. Whilst I
terror,
have the opportunity, I'm going to terror twice. So I'm going to take support off Zamboanga and I'm going to shift Kebu all the way to resistance.
and then Fred's turn.
Did you put resistance up for me here?
I did, yeah. It should be around them now. So it's 6 plus 4, which is 10. Yeah.
So I could do an up special. And I'm tempted because I want to have another option to do a charm before the next election. So I think I'm gonna do a charm, that's for sure. The question is, do I want to train? Not really. I think I have enough boots on the ground. So I'm probably gonna do some sweepy sweeps. I'm gonna do some sweepy sweeps and we're round up or no? I have to do sweeps. That's the thing.
You have to
I
do something non-aggressive if you're doing charm. You can't kill people and charm at the same time.
Well, actually,
Aggressive.
sweeps. I'm pretty sure that sweeps was a bit aggressive. I guess.
A little, yes.
Yeah, a
There's
little.
quite a lot of intelligence gathering and
Yeah. So I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do
interrogations, therefore.
a sweepy sweep in Davao.
Mhm.
I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to bring that here. Actually, I didn't even need that extra cube. So let me take that back. So one sweep in Davao, that puts me at 2. And then I'm thinking about doing... I could do a sweep in Manila to avoid the terror there, I guess.
Yep.
Or I could do a sweep in Northern Luzon.
Or you could keep your money to
Yeah,
use it.
true. Yeah, I could keep my money and just do a charm, and be charming, and shift the space to support. And what I will do is, and it could be any space to support. I just need to have.
You need control.
I need to have control of that space, but I have control of Davao.
Shift it
for example.
towards support. It's not.
Yeah, so it's just one
support.
step.
Oh yeah, okay, because it says say shift space to support on the parade, but then it
Does it say
says
that?
in the procedure towards support. Yeah. Okay.
It does. It says
Uh,
shift space 1 level.
okay.
Yeah.
So I can put Manila or Davao to neutral, or actually I could make Zamboa under my supporting me, and I don't really care about support. It's just annoying for them, right?
Yeah, and you need it to do enrich as well.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to take it off where possible, because I don't want you enriching, because it's hard to remove patronage. I can't remove patronage from you.
I'm gonna do it.
You can by killing bases, Peter, but it's quite difficult.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it in Zamboanga, and then I'm gonna increase my aid by 5, so that's gonna put me at 15. Here.
And you're happy just with that one sweep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that one sweep. I keep 2 resources if there is something I want to do later on. And I think that's good. Yeah.
It's just a one sweep wonder, Jay.
It's the one sweep wonder. And it's the Pope. Here he is, more Catholic.
Oh yeah.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Yep. So for me, the event is useless.
Yep.
And I really need bases.
I think based on the fact we've got 15 cards less in the deck and 7 cards out, I have a feeling this might be the election next, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one thing. I don't know if you followed. Do you know if Joe decreased my patronage for my charm or not?
I'm not sure.
I would think that he probably did, but we will need to check when he's back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So wait a minute. That setup. What's my patronage starting with? Is it at 5 or 6? That's the. I'm gonna check, because I think he might. Yeah, patronage is at 5, and I charmed twice, so I should be at 3 actually. So yeah. Thanks.
So the little wrinkle for me here is that I have no resources.
Yeah,
I have no
that's
means
a
to
little
gain
wrinkle.
resources.
So the way for you to gain resources is to pass.
I mean, I could appeal, but that's a special
can't-
ability, and I can't take a special ability without taking up.
Well, you can take the
So
special
You can
ability
take the special
first.
first.
Yeah. So either
So
you
that's
pass and you get 1 resource,
good
or you
idea.
take your special ability first and then do your thing.
Okay. I mean, I think I just will do that then. I'm gonna do a special activity.
Thanks,
I'm gonna
Arthur,
take
for
a
joining
minute.
us and staying true to the pyjama spirit of the pyjama stream.
I will leave any number of activists from selected spaces to available. So I'm basically removing activists from the map here.
Yeah, this
To gain-
particularly represents them going overseas, so off to the US to
Okay.
gain support.
So for me here, what I'm looking at is like Davao. I don't think I will gain control of Davao, so I might as well
Give
remove
up on
myself
it,
from
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's plus
Get out of
2. I'd like to stay in Zamboanga because I think I could flip it potentially, but Cebu, I'm happy to leave.
Yep.
And so that's another 2. And Manila, I want to stay.
There's also this
so
one in Central
I think I'll just
Mindanao,
leave it there.
which is
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy in Central Mindanao.
Yeah,
It's
it
not a
is,
very
yeah.
valuable space. So, yeah. But yeah,
No,
getting
yeah,
out
I
of these
believe that.
places, getting out of these violent spaces where the MPA are being violent is smart.
So the other thing is, you can
Yeah.
always, if you want to get back in there, you can spend 1 and you get 1 back, right? So you just
Yeah.
get
Sure.
free resource
Sure.
in that sense.
So you could
Yeah,
you can then
it's- yeah.
recruit. And
So it
Lots
makes
of space.
sense in a way to remove everywhere that doesn't have government control that's blocking you.
well, except you
Sure.
might want to build up more
Ex-
numbers in Manila.
I do want to stay in Manila.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. I think I'm going to leave it at this, but I do see what you're saying. I think you're right. So now I need to pick an operation, and
support, not control, isn't it? Lots.
And it has to be recruit or will persuade.
Yeah.
Or any actually. Sorry, me anything.
I think I'll just be recruiting, I guess.
There's one thing you really lack right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
this
don't
is
have a
better
big
in
one.
the
Like, you literally have 2 activists on the board. So,
in the longer scenario, which starts in 1981. You actually begin with 0 presence on the board pool, because you're all in exile. So you're doing slightly better.
I'm gonna do Zamboanga as well.
No, you can't do Zamboanga because it's dropped
Oh
up
no,
in spoil.
it's just
Yeah.
yes,
can't
yes, of course.
recruit there.
Sorry. I'm gonna get them back into Kebu and Deval then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, it
Great.
does. It makes sense.
So-
Those guys, tired of the violence, run off to the US, but then send in more people.
So that's a net gain of 3 resources and 1 in Manila, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's good. I think. Yeah,
Nice. I'm happy with
Yeah.
that.
cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one.
Okay, I think it's. Oh no, I was
No,
wrong.
not
We're
yet.
getting
Ooh.
close. No, there could be a few more events. Agrava Commission. So this is actually the commission which is investigating, I think, the shooting of Nino Aquino. See what happened. And Fred was Fred's the government. He's in charge of the commission, so he can decide what their verdict is.
Shift 2 cities towards support. I don't really care about that right now. I think I'm gonna do. It's gonna sound unusual, but I think I'm gonna do a lim up and stay eligible.
Yep.
And my
Okay.
lim up is going to take a small assault, but a friendly assault in Davao.
Oh yeah, I see. That is smart.
What a
That
nice
makes a lot of
guy.
sense.
And for removing
Nice
a base
guy.
with assault, I believe you gain another 5 aid as well. Because
Yes.
US is funding your
So I'll
fight
go
against
down
communists.
to 9.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of communists. They should like that. And those were my last 2 resources. Boop.
Cool.
Okay. Fred, you may have made a mistake here because you're zeroed out on resources. I'm going to rally a base into Manila.
You don't have money.
You don't have any
Oh, I
resources.
don't have it either. Oh, terrible mistake.
You might have
This
made
is
a
the very
mistake,
s-
Fred. Fred, you
this-
might have made a mistake. You know, you're gonna
Oh.
pass and you're gonna shut up. That's what you're
Fred
gonna do.
is Fred is such a mean girl. He's such a mean girl.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, okay. I guess I need to extort then. And the only thing I can prepare with extort is either terror or rally. So I will extort here 1, here 2, here 3, here 4.
Let's just hope it's not the election next, so we can have a big turn before.
I
his
could
session.
actually rally into Manila with a base.
You
just
could
to
now put the
try-
base in Manila if you want, just for night road. Yeah.
Just to try and be cheeky. What's the odds in which the election's coming up, Joe?
What is
Um,
the lottery, I think?
1/3 chance of the next card being.
Oh, it's a 1 in 3 chance. Oh, I had it horribly wrong before.
Yep. 'Cause it's in there are 10 events and 1 election.
Oh, okay.
Now I
We've had 8
definitely
then.
want to recruit back in here.
Mhm.
And I've spent 2 resources so far. So the other place.
Where's the first place
Alright.
you recruited? Rallied.
I'm picking the other place.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
I really like the art direction with the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was Don
Donald,
Haggerty.
yeah.
Donald, he did
Yeah.
a great job.
Yeah, it's
He was-
pretty amazing.
It's quite funny hearing talk about it because he was told to make it look kind of 80s, and then he went all in on this, and he's very keen to tell us all about. He says the
Yeah.
80s doesn't look like you think it looks like. Because what you're imagining is the late 80s. The early 80s look more like the late 70s. I'll tell you.
I love Donald.
Yeah,
He's
great.
awesome. And we have a question from Arthur here that might be a question that Joe you might want to answer about how different or similar these newer coins like People Power and British Way are from the older ones. And Arthur took the example of the oldest one actually, and the Anubis.
Well, no, that's a good contrast. Though they're different and similar in different ways. So the government and MPA factions, for instance, here are relatively similar to those factions in Andean Abyss, particularly the MPA. So the MPA is fairly similar to the FARC in Andean Abyss in some ways. The government is quite similar, but different again in some ways. The reformers are very different, more like one of the factions from Gandhi. You can flip that card. Okay. Civilian defense forces from the government. I'll just finish what I'm saying though. And then the main difference to both of these, I would say, is the sequence of play. So this 3-player sequence of play is very different, how it operates. And similarly, in British Way, the 2-player sequence of play is very different. But in terms of faction dynamics, the MPA is a bit like the FARC, and in Malaya in the British way, the government and the MCP there are fairly similar to traditional factions. The other British way games are more different again, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. Civilian
So-
Home Defense Forces from Fredo,
Well-
who has spent all of his money.
Yeah, but I can still charm. Even
You
if I
can
spend-
still you can't actually, because you do need to perform an operation. So
Yeah. So then in that case, I
Can't
think
do
the only
anything.
thing I can do is either take the event, which so close to the election is going to be probably useless, or pass and
It
get
would-
3
yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
So
2, 3, you do get 3, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably should have risked getting that base Manila, shouldn't I?
oops,
Oh, well.
sorry.
That's all right. Okay, I will.
Yeah.
It is me next, isn't it? Yeah.
It would have been
will-
very likely to be removed, I would say, by Fredo at the start of the next campaign. So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we think a protest convert now is a good idea? Right.
Yeah, it'd be good to take advantage of the special guy you have,
Yeah.
and if it's a big
Definitely
time
want
for
to
us.
take advantage of
Yep.
Jamie.
Well,
Yeah.
the only problem is you can only do it in Manila, but that's still good with.
I think that's still quite
Jamie.
strong.
I'm- yep.
Yeah, and I want to try it.
You do need
So,
active activists
convert.
to be doing it.
No, he can do that. You would need to protest in Manila to do that,
Yeah.
but you can do this.
Yeah, I'll protest in a minute.
Yep.
So it's protest.
Sorry, you
thank
can
you.
get
And that
Okay,
no,
there we go.
it's fine.
I
Um,
guess
So guys,
just to throw a bit of a spanner in the works of this plan, but you do have the opportunity to potentially canvas in Zamboanga, which I think might actually be better for your score.
Could you explain?
So if you did a canvas instead, you can remove terror and then set the space to opposition. So Zamboanga, for example, would go all the way from support to opposition, and that would be better for your overall score. And you wouldn't be making your activists active,
Active in Manila.
Nice.
thus risk of being removed.
but this
I'm
would
just having it.
give you
Yeah.
more activists here, and then remove some of Fred's guys.
So
yeah.
converting would allow me to replace stuff as well. But I see what you're saying,
yeah.
and I think Fred's still in
Yes.
quite a strong position, and I think maybe weakening that would probably be better. I think I'll do what you're saying, Peter.
Okay.
Again, I'm very happy for suggestions because
You can't trust Peter, but this is a
of
sensible
experience.
suggestion.
You can trust me.
No, you cannot.
So canvas
I will
removes
canvas, yeah.
terror. Yeah, removes
Yeah.
terror, sets it to
Yeah.
opposition, and then you need to
Fantastic.
do something else. You could so with canvas you need to assemble or persuade again. So you could assemble to. So you can what you can do if you want to is you can assemble in place just to remove terror, but you may not want
That's
to do
what
that.
I was thinking.
But then you could protest in a future. Well, there won't be a future turn, unfortunately. So,
Oh, okay.
so what you may want to do with that assemble instead. Well, there's not. Yeah, you may not want to do anything with it.
Should I recruit for a base in Manila, or is that not worth it?
I don't think you can recruit in canvas actually. You can only
Oh no, I
canvas
can't.
with
I can't. Oh, sorry,
assemble and
yeah.
persuade.
It's just
And
a
persuade
separate
won't do
persuade.
anything right now.
I will just I will just move. I'll assemble.
I think
So
that's
assemble,
what
you
it
need
is.
to move to
It has
adjacent
to
spaces.
be
Yeah.
adjacent.
But,
Yeah, it has to be adjacent.
but
Yeah.
you could put one out into Eastern Mindanao, or you could move one of these ones from Manila into somewhere.
I'm going to just recruit into Eastern Mindanao. Right?
You
That's what you're
can't
saying, or are you
recruit
saying I
with.
should just
You-
assemble into Eastern
You can't
Mindanao?
recruit with it. Yeah, you could assemble into it. That's sensible, I think. Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
Cool.
I'll just do that.
There we go.
Cool.
So yeah, obviously the
How about-
downside of this is that your board presence is still slightly lower, but that
Yeah.
does probably mean that Fred will be still focusing on me a bit more.
I think I was
Very
just a
little
bit
you
too
can do
attracted
against
to
you.
the Cardinal Sin card, trying to
Yeah.
use it
I know,
without thinking
yeah.
about
That is-
doing the other stuff.
Oh
Okay.
wow,
Yeah.
going all the way.
Final one for Fred. Makati Business Club.
Well, that's not gonna bring me
Not
anything.
going to help because they don't support you. So.
Yeah, no one supports me. I don't know why. I'm being super charming. It looks like I'm only charming the US actually, but they are giving me a lot of money for it. So that's
Not a
pretty
good
They're the
look,
only
man.
ones. They're the only ones falling for your propaganda.
-3 patronage, -5 government resources. That would put my patronage at 0 and my government resources at 0 too. So I might want to avoid that. And I might do up only, even if it's the last card and I wanted to sneak in a last charm. But that's just the way it is. And if I do up only, what could I be doing? There is not much I could do if I did an up only, really. But I don't want to let the event happen.
There's another question from Otto here while you're thinking, maybe.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can put up.
I'm going to bring it up. Yeah.
He's asking, saying the changes are to accommodate theme. I mean, there's a sense in which that's always what the changes should be doing, because these are games designed around a theme. In terms of strict upgrades, so some people prefer this. So in the 3-player sequence of play, potentially everybody can act on each card, so there's less downtime, which can be quite exciting. In the 2-player sequence of play, which Stephen came up with the British way, I think is very easy to understand. I'm not sure. Yeah, you tried one of the British way games with me recently.
And I'd agree. I'd agree. That was quite easy to understand, and that was from the experience of someone who's clearly played very little coin. And I found the British way was really accessible, like that. Not that this is inaccessible. I'm getting the sequence of play quite quickly.
No, I mean I wouldn't say any are strict upgrades. Really, they're just different ways to think about the game structure and different ways to do that.
Actually, you know what?
And
I'm going to do up NSA, because if I do up NSA, I'm going to lose 1 patronage and 2 resources, and the event is going to be useless. I'm going to do a last charm, so that's what I'm going to do. And I think I am going to do. I can train. I guess I'm going to place the last two units on the board, and I think I'm probably going to take control of Northern Luzon just to get 2 extra points. So I'm going to place here. Take that. That gives me +2. And then once I've done this, I'm going to charm, and actually I think I'm gonna charm in Northern Luzon itself.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna charm in Northern Luzon.
You up to 25.
Yeah, I lose 1 patronage, so I lose 1 point, and I think I'm fine, because then if you take the event, you're actually removing 1 resource and 2 patronage from me, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the 2 patronage wouldn't be so bad to remove, but this does definitely reshape what I'm able to do. I now can't do a big extort, so I'm going to be much poorer than I would otherwise have been. So it's really good that you're blocking me like that. I can't now rally here to retake support because you put it to. Retake control because you put it to support. So I probably just want to spend just a terror, I guess, possibly even.
This is the final card, by the way, Peter. So.
Yeah. So. My other option was to try and retake control. I could march in there, but I don't have enough guys.
You don't take away. You wouldn't take control.
Yeah.
You would.
He could add if he marched both. If he marched from Manila and Southern Luzon, he could.
Yeah.
I don't have the resources to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't have the money for it because it's per origin.
March from origins.
I'm a march from, not a march to faction. So I wonder if just tearing that and then it makes it expensive for Fred to replenish it is probably my best bet.
It'd be quite a kind of reactive defensive play, but it might not be so bad.
Or I just try the cheeky base here, but I'm not that fussed about that.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of control, which means I can do a lot of agitation. There's not terror in any of these spaces, so I don't have to worry about that. I'll be getting resources equal to bases, is that right, Jay?
Twice bases, actually.
Twice bases. Okay, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I think this is the best move, so I'll just terror up here.
As we discussed earlier, the aim is to make things difficult for Fred, so that's fine. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's your last one, and then the next one is going to be the election. So I mean, strictly that doesn't reset till the end of the election. We can do it now. So 1984 parliamentary election. So what we do now is we run through this election sequence over here, which is what's called the propaganda round in other games. So Fred, if you can, do you have get that up on the screen maybe? If there were any strike markers down, which Peter failed to do, Fred would lose.
Failed, Peter.
Failed. In the final one, we'll do the acts of desperation, but we don't do that yet. Nobody's met their victory threshold, so Fred is at minus 3. 0, 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, -3.
Pierre's at -3 as well, and Peter's at -4. So very close right now. Government has resources equal to aid plus government controlled population. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So he's going to get 38 resources, almost maxing out, which is smart. And then his aid goes back down to 5, so that won't.
He actually had 1 in the tank. So.
Oh yeah, so he's on 39 exactly. Pierre gains resources equal to population at opposition, which is good. So you get 9, so you're up to 12. That's cool.
Happy.
and Peter gained 5 spaces, so 10. So yeah, you're all in a pretty solid position in terms of resources. Fred particularly is. And then we go to the support phase. So Fred can do civic action in any spaces with government control, troops, and police. So 2 resources per shift or terror removed. You can also remove strikes at this point or protest with enemy. So Fred can choose where to do that.
So the thing now is,
And he's got a lot of money, so he could do this in quite a lot of spaces if he wanted.
So the thing is that I want to enrich. So in my future phase. So in that regard, I really don't care that Manila is at oppose. Really, that's fine.
Yeah, you can just leave them protesting there while you
exactly.
sneakily gain money elsewhere. Yep.
Yeah, that's not my focus. But Zamboanga is a bit of an issue. I want Zamboanga to be on my side. So I'm gonna shift it to this. So that's gonna cost me 2.
4.
Twice. I mean, so that puts me at 35. Do I want to do it in that? Such a mess down here in Davao.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I like my options in Northern Luzon, because that would only cost me 2.
It would cost you 4 because you need to get rid of
4.
Sorry,
so
2 shifts.
31, 2 shifts. And the thing is, Davao would be 3 shifts.
Because of terror, exactly. Yep.
Davao would be 3 shifts. Do you think it's worth it, Joe?
I think it might be. So Davao rather than Kebu, because there are 2 people who can remove it there. And the reason it might be is that Peter's going to be able to do a lot of agitation soon, and his score is quite high already. So
I think I'm going to do it in Davao for 3.
So that costs you 6
So
more.
it costs me 6, and that puts me at so I was at 31, puts me at 25.
Yeah, then you've still got a good amount of resources there.
I think so.
Then Peter can agitate, so basically the same kind of thing in spaces with MPA control. So 1 resource in each space, so you can spend 4 to shift.
2,
so,
3, 4.
Yep, so it puts me up to 11.
I'm wondering about whether I should do it in Eastern Mindanao as well.
Yeah. Yep. It might cause tension with your partner here. Yep.
Absolute dog.
Yeah, on the one hand, it's like it's at opposition.
Yep.
So I want to shift it towards resistance. On the other hand, his score is very low. I think I will, because I want to be able to potentially terror that to the right facing.
And to Arnold's point,
you're just going to set it to neutral. Okay.
To Arnold's point around the map, I think there is and that's really personal, but for me there is a bit of a gap between. I think the counters are awesome. I think the cards are awesome. But there is a bit of a gap with. I think the map is a bit more dull compared to the rest, and the cover, the cover was a bit of a disappointment, if I'm being honest. I was like, what is that? What's up with that? Yeah. The font is an amazing choice and everything, but it was it's a bit of a mess. It's all over the place. Not sure what happened there. But some out of it is really, really strong. And some of it is a bit feels a bit off. Actually, kind of like the playwrights, a bit more colorful than usual.
Very colorful. I love the background here. It looks like you get that kind of fabric on bus and train seats sometimes in the UK at least.
Yes,
it looks a lot like that. These kind of abstract patterns on these.
Yeah,
seats.
It's very nice. The playwrights are really, really cool. So it's a bit weird. It's a bit like you feel like 3 or 4 different people worked on it, and it definitely had a different vibe. That's for
the game.
Sure.
The game there was a long time in development and a long time in various different art stages. So there's maybe a slight bit of disorganization there. You get to place a base in one space with no control, no government control. That's it. So
I get to place a base. Oh no,
not you. Yeah, are you called?
I was like,
there are 2 people called Pierre here, and you're not one of them. Yeah.
God, it's all about him, isn't it?
Yes.
It's all about him, and that could be anywhere. So it could be somewhere where you have a piece like Eastern Mindanao. It could be in those spaces.
Yeah. So my 2 things were either Eastern Mindanao or Southern Luzon.
So the advantage of Southern Luzon.
Southern Luzon, gives you better access into Manila, and you were doing that assemble canvas thing that then actually produces somewhere where you can do that.
Yeah, you can build
I think that's what I'm
going
to do. Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be right outside of Manila. There you go.
It's good for doing that in Davao, but Davao is obviously less valuable.
and you've
Makes
kind of given
sense.
up on it because there's all these people there.
Yeah.
And then Fred gets to redeploy. So first you can move police to any government-controlled spaces, and then you're going to have to move your troops from places without bases back to cities with government control of bases with
Only-
bases.
Yeah, so
Only
there's
applies
only
here.
Central Mindanao. That's
Yeah, that's just that one. There's nowhere particularly useful for you to move police, but you could move this police out of Eastern Mindanao if you wanted to give up on it. It does
Yeah,
seem
it's
like
not-
you've conceded the countryside here to the communists.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Peasant, just let the peasants rule the countryside. That's fine.
Yes,
Apart from
unless-
Northern Luzon, which is under
apart from
iron
Northern Luzon,
fist.
which I actually want to
Yeah.
keep.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that this police is gonna come here.
Into the
Actually,
sea.
can't go there because there's no government control there. You can go
Oh,
anywhere.
I need
except-
government control.
You could move it to Northern Luzon to try and hold down or something. if you want.
And then this one will go to anywhere with a base.
Yes, or government, or a city with control. Yep, that can go to.
Because then I'm thinking that maybe I can place this in Zamboanga.
Yep.
And then I can redeploy all armies towards places where there is a base, right?
Yep.
Or
troops.
yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just
because-
knocking things over.
Troops.
Yep.
So because then I could do this and this, for example.
Yep, to get control here.
Yeah, and get control.
That makes sense.
Nice.
Cool.
Does that give me a point?
1 point, yeah.
Boop.
Good.
Uh,
That's it.
yeah, I think that's it. I think that should work. Yeah, happy with that.
Okay. Cool. Then we do. So you get rid of these personalities are out. They've had their time in the sun. They're not gone, but they're just not influential. And then you can take your cards and you can pick one more personality. So there's no more.
Goodbye, Imelda. And now we want a mini. A big mini. That's what we want.
And I'm gonna flip all the. Oh, he's done it. Got all those guys underground already.
I would have liked General Fabian, but I feel like I would have done this in a game where I had one more propaganda. I would have liked
He's very
General
good.
Fabian, Imelda, and then Juan Ponce Enrile. I think that's a good.
Yeah.
one.
So
So-
what you? So yeah. Jump here.
I'm thinking of going for the colonel at this point. To,
Yeah,
to
he's a good
bleed
one
some
for his
troops
final
from,
round.
from Fred. Yeah. Sorry, go
Makes
ahead.
it more costly for Fred to attack you.
Well, if someone is gonna go after my military, I'm probably better off using the funds for good things.
Yeah, with the huge amount of money you've got, really is quite a nice one. And it means you don't need to even
Yeah.
need to use enrich. You have a kind of alternative enrich option here.
Yeah.
So he in relay and the one of the other guys you've got eventually defected and joined the protesters. Interesting
Oh.
side. I think not because they were convinced by the arguments of the protesters, but because they didn't want to go to prison.
Saw where the wind was blowing.
Yeah, exactly. The next thing actually you're going to be doing, so yeah, you could take these acts of desperation now. So these act of
Okay.
desperation cards, you're going to select one now, and we're going to use the option where you keep it hidden, and then in the final election round, before we determine a winner, we're going to run through these and implement their effects. So these are like final gambits, basically, and they represent the kind of exciting moments of the final 24 hours of the revolution. Peter's looking at all his cards at once because he's a pro gamer.
Can you see my hand?
I'm just indecisive.
Get rid of these now. I can see your hand. Yep. Yep. You can point to
Okay.
things, and I can.
Of course.
So you can see.
I
which
can
ones
give you the
actually-
number in the top left as well, can I?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm thinking-
we don't remember the numbers. So,
yeah. Number 56 and 50.
Oh, this one. Oh, okay.
Think about. Although 57 is good, but I'd have to really go full on with that one, and they'd probably see it coming.
I think-
I'm
and-
just casually gonna look at the deck, but it has nothing to do with what you were saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's completely unrelated.
What a cheater! What a cheater!
What a cheater! Yeah.
So I would
Actually,
say.
I didn't even have my deck open in the first place. Everyone.
Go ahead, Joe.
The 56 is sometimes harder to pull off because
Yeah.
it depends on like exactly where things are. Whereas
Mhm.
58, if you're pushing hard enough, you could be able to get, and it might just help a little bit with stopping that kind of runaway
Sure.
potential winner there. Yep.
I think I'm going to go for that one then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I do as well,
Reactive
Pierre.
desperation.
the election card becomes a kind of capability.
Oh yeah, so you've got So after this 1984 parliamentary election, Pierre's parties here have gained support. So your limited operations now cost 0 resources, which is quite a cool option.
Oh, that's fun.
And you gain 2 resources when you pass. But yeah, the 0 resource limited operation is really nice. It means you can get along a little bit if you need to.
One of the reasons why I think
worry less about running out.
Shifting board space here and like actually forcing Fred to spend 6 of his resources. Probably
good. That makes
a good
sense.
idea.
Yeah.
Cool. So Peter's chosen the Labour leader, Leandro. So more of a political approach here, which is like the previous thing for setting spaces directly to possession, so he can need strike to set spaces directly to resistance in cities, which is cool. Okay, he's going for a more political approach. It's getting some for soldiers on side, and Fred is doing mega corruption. And you've all chosen your acts of desperation as well. I'll just move all these messy cards over here out of the way.
I'm putting these finger guns to use, or at least the colonel is.
And then everything else is done.
Hey, we saw a ghost appear behind Peter.
Spooky. Haunted mansion.
Yes.
Cool. And then let's continue.
That's what
So the Moro Pirates. So the Moro are indigenous population of the southern island Mindanao and some of the associated islands. And so this is an interesting aside both about the history and the history of the game. So there's another conflict which isn't covered by this game, which is against the Moro separatist movement in Mindanao. Earlier versions of the game, which covered a wider time span, had actually the MPA as a combined MPA Moro faction. So they were both the MPA organization and the Moro separatists in the Southern Island. And there's a few Moro events which kind of represent some of the impact here. In this case, just pirates. So and these pirates went a really long way. So as you can see, the top event here about the Malaysian police, they would sometimes go into Malaysia and other kind of areas to the southwest or west of the Philippines, cause trouble. So Fred's first on this one.
No,
he's not.
Would let him. No, MPA is he's last, in fact.
Yeah, last,
first.
yeah.
Yep. Which gets him lots of
We've
resources.
got 3 guerrillas from each means 3 guerrillas total, right? It doesn't mean
3 guerrillas. Nope, 3 guerrillas from each space. It does mean 3 from each space. Yep.
Wow, that's broken.
Maybe we should block that.
Yeah, it's not broken if you're first eligible. It's like
Yeah, exactly. You can choose what to do with this, Peter. The power is in your
He
hands.
was playtesting this game. I mean, it was me. If people don't know that,
one thing as well, I think important about this 3-player sequence of play, because you can do the limited operation to stay eligible. The events really do need to be quite attractive in order to be worth taking. Otherwise, you're often better off doing a limited operation. If an event just has an impact similar to a limited operation, you may as well just do a limited operation. So they need to be quite high impact.
yeah.
I'm glad that Arno likes the color of the pieces, actually, because we got these are similar color pieces to the British way pieces, and they're slightly more kind of muted tone.
Yeah.
Which I think is really nice. Kind of pastels, I guess.
yes, but
rather
more
than
pastel. Yeah.
primary colors.
Fred's doing an unboxing for us right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you the actual colors. Wait a minute. I'm gonna put this. Yeah,
So triple ambush isn't that exciting.
There's slightly more kind of pastel colors, and the pieces here as well. I'm not sure if the pieces in TTS they don't actually. They have the hand symbols for each faction, which is really cool. So you've got the Laban for or finger guns, and you got the fist, and you've got the.
It works really well. Look, it's like I think that was a good.
With its shed.
Yeah. I think it was.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. So there's a bit of red further down around Mary, isn't there?
Yeah.
I am actually going to do the event, even though it's not super efficient, because it gets me 5 resources and it just saves me from having to extort once in the future.
Cool.
So, it's
then you're ambushing.
Yeah.
Just so I've got this right as well, the game could end at any card flipped now, right?
No, there's going to be when there's 5 left in the deck, it could end.
Okay, cool.
But not before
That's
then.
good
Yep.
It's the short one. Based on we had the longest campaign before, so it's pretty short.
Joe, I have a question. So it tells me that I ambush in each of these spaces, but I can't actually target anything. Do I still?
I think it says just one ambush once in Western, Central, or Eastern. So it's just one space.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I am using the full event.
Yeah. Because you also wouldn't remove anything anyway, so it's fine. This guy, you can flip this guy back underground. Because you get to place a gorilla once.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Did they lose an army somewhere, like here?
Yeah, he ambushed you. The pirates ambushed you. So this is a small impact from the Moro pirates or Moro separatists down here, who weren't like allied with the MPA, but their interests often did align.
Mm-hmm. That's why they were initially together then in the design.
Yeah, exactly. It was more like there was mostly Moro action down here and mostly MPA up here. But by this time, so the reason it was taken out eventually is by the 80s, the Moro were less active. I think they've been beaten back. They are now actually quite active again. And interestingly, the movement kind of transformed from being more of an autonomous or nationalist movement to it's actually become taken over as an Islamist movement. So they're now called the
Islamic Liberation Front, I think.
The MILF, yeah, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. Yep.
There's a card in Labyrinth that represents them.
Yeah. They were called something else originally, like the Moro National Liberation Front or something like this.
Okay, so I will.
Yeah, sorry, it's your go.
That's the event carried out. I will do an open special activity.
Yep.
So I'm thinking of striking on Manila and Zamboanga at once here, like you were saying, Peter, sort of really trying to go hard on it. And I think finally that the protest convert idea is maybe a good idea. I can actually do it now. So I protest in.
Yep. I would definitely do Zamboanga. I'd be hesitant about Manila just because it's already at opposition, and you make yourself vulnerable by going active. So those might want to stay hidden for now, potentially. Yep.
So that's true, but then converting is what I was thinking.
Converting in Manila to protect your lead is absolutely the right way to be thinking here.
Yeah,
I think so. I will be doing it in both. I think so. I'm going to protest in both.
Yep.
So that's 2 resources. And what does that do? So I just put a protest and activate them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And Zamboanga goes to neutral.
Yeah, just neutral because the previous card.
One at front. Yeah. So your protest is slightly less effective now. Yep.
Sure. And then I convert. And
And convert lets you either replace 1 or remove 2.
I should be removing, right? At this point,
I would remove
to get So I'm going to remove 2 in both.
Yeah. Try and remove the control more. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Government
to
so it's -2 patronage, so he goes to 0 patronage as well, right?
Yep. That's right.
Cool.
Fred, what are you doing? You're like trying to govern the country or something?
Yeah, it's gross.
That's lots because lots of his soldiers are deserting now as well.
Don't you understand how the Filipino politics work?
He goes down 2 more as well because he's lost control in.
Fantastic.
Nice. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Cool. That's me.
Perfect. Cool. Very nice. And then Fred gets a limited operation or path.
Mm-hmm.
So a nice combined assault against the government there. And what's the government going to do? What tricks have they got up their sleeve?
Well, I'm going to do limb up, that's for sure. I don't think I'm going to pass. The problem is what I'm going to do with the limb up. I could do a series of roundup afterwards. So the question is...
Look at him hiding behind his player aid.
Or if I do some roundups, do I want to do some roundups or do I want to do a mean assault? So in any case, I'm going to do a limited up, and the question is, where do I where do I sweep?
You're not going to do a roundup?
No.
I think he's gonna sweep and then hopefully round up for assault next turn.
Yeah, and then do an assault afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah. He's trying to decide who the biggest threat is, which is the government.
Not a little
I think my biggest threat is probably the communists.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sweep in Luzon, and this is it. And that cost me 2.
Right, do you want to send another troop to Luzon?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. Yeah. The police doesn't work there. Yes, thanks, Joe.
Sorry,
yeah.
Peter.
No, that's fair. I always like to play. in a kind of lenient way. I'd rather
I think it's worth pointing out
lenient
that
in that we'll
help
let
other
Fred
people
win, right?
optimize and stuff.
Yeah.
Chinese
NPA,
yes.
resources, blah, I don't care. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do an assault. Get
like
rid of
every
that.
good coin player, the Fred glances at the events and then decides he doesn't care, which is the secret to
Well,
a good
if
coin
I was eligible here, I would definitely have taken this to have marched
Yep.
into Manila and set up a
Absolutely.
base. But yeah,
Yeah,
It's
and that
not-
actually lowers it as well by one. Cool. And plus you 2 resources.
it's a big hit.
And importantly now, so this is quite hard for us to achieve, but Northern Luzon is kind of fully secure now because neither of you can recruit or rally there. And if you move in, well, reformers can still assemble in without going active. So that's one way to
Yeah.
get into it. But otherwise, it's fully secure.
Yes.
So you've assaulted, and
Oh, you already decreased my resources, right?
for the assault, I didn't do no.
Okay, so that's
Yeah, I think you're
puts me
right,
at
21.
21.
Yep. Yep.
And then I'm going to spend 4, so 21 to 17 to increase my patronage by 3.
Yep. So rather than enriching and losing support, you just gain 3 don't you, from
Yep.
This is
schemes and related schemes, selling guns, probably selling guns to MPA or something stupid, or to the Libyans or.
I'm fine with selling guns to the APA. Actually, I really don't care. It's like as long as I keep control.
it's that
And
the
I
defense
get
funds are going into his bank account rather
Yes.
than.
I think you're right. I think that's actually what's happening. Yeah, he's taking money that's meant to be
Yeah.
from American helicopters or whatever.
Ah,
Marcos is
war
war
hero
record?
Marcos.
Yep.
Yeah, he led a guerrilla group around sort of this kind of area of the Philippines, I believe. That was a
Okay.
great hero. But it's all lies, so.
Didn't do much.
Or is it?
So it's saying with population of 3, the total
Yep.
of 3 population each. Which ones is
Yeah,
that?
so
For me, the
that
population.
could potentially shift
so
Luzon
it would
and then like
be-
a 1 space, basically.
Yeah, so you could do 2 and a 1 or 3 ones, basically.
I see what you mean. I see. Okay. Adding up to 3 eventually. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I do want to do that.
No.
Oh, that's quite strong, isn't it? That's
It can be. It's quite good. Depending on your
Depends
position.
what
Yeah.
else you need to achieve.
yeah. I
Yep.
do kind
But
of
you
want
could
to
probably leave it
So
to
the thing with
each of
taking
these.
Manila now is
Mhm.
that's what I was thinking.
I think you should
Manila
probably
is under
ignore the
threat from
event. It's a
Northern
bit of a
Luzon, I
red
think,
herring.
and I think it's going to be quite hard
Yep.
to.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I do want to try and flip Zamboanga somehow, either
So you could do
by
more. You could do more
literally just
protesting for that.
recruiting.
So you actually can't
Yeah,
get control.
protesting would just do it. wouldn't it?
So uncontrol is the status you want anyway.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you could
Cool.
recruit and convert, I believe, if you wanted. Yep. That would get you a lot of pieces down.
I think I will be doing recruit and convert. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
It's a
keen
nice
to get
idea.
more stuff out. And
That'll set you up nicely.
so recruit. I'm going to. Should I put a base in Manila? Is that stupid?
I think at this point it's pretty risky.
What?
Yeah.
So base, yeah, you can recruit one there. Yep, that will come in active. What you could do, if you do your convert now, you could then have a look at what the situation is like. That might make it less risky to put a base in Manila, essentially.
So I'm going to remove 2 cubes from the government. It's the greener cubes first, right?
Yeah, the police.
Yeah,
Light
police
blue,
first, right?
but they look pretty green.
Light blue. Yeah. So that's another one.
Another one patronage goes down.
Yeah. And I can do one other place. So should I just clear
It has-
Zamboanga
I
completely?
would,
Yeah, it would have to be Zamboanga. It has to be where there's a protest, so you can replace
Yeah.
that with one of yours. And that lowers his
I'll find
patronage.
it out for you.
Yeah, cool.
So there you go.
Amazing.
Then,
Amazing.
so if you did want to recruit a base now in Manila, for example, because Roundup only uses police, Fred wouldn't be able to immediately remove it. But of course, he could train and then.
So my thought is that I'm fine if he removes it as long as he's using a lot of either resources or
Yeah,
his
exactly.
entire turn to do that. So I think I will do a base there just
Yeah.
to delay
And he
him a little
could
bit.
just
so
as
Peter
much
has more
remove
chance.
those. Yeah, exactly. So that gives you a nice option
Yeah.
there. Oh, that costs you one more resource. Do you want to rally anywhere else? Oh yeah, Southern Luzon. Southern Luzon would be good because when you rally where there's a base, you get population plus bases. So you could rally and put 2 here, and then they'll be well positioned to march into Manila.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Peter
do
was
that.
giving you a helping hand there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I because you've got so
In
many
my head,
resources.
I'm like, I need a base.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would, because you've got quite a lot of resources. I would be thinking about where else you can do that as well. Just like where else you can rally.
So there's two options here. Cool. One, so going in Kebu would be good. Just try and potentially counter Fred's control in future. The question then is whether you bother rallying in these places or whether you just kind of leave them to Peter.
I think I'm leaving those places to Peter, but I think Kebu is still potentially a battleground for me.
And
so
you can contest those cities.
Yeah, it's not such a bad thing for you to be there, because if you assemble into spaces, so like I wouldn't mind if you went into Eastern Mindanao as well, if you kind of geared to go into Devoured, to be irritating for Fred there as well.
But I've already got presence there, is my thoughts.
Yeah.
That's maybe enough.
Probably fine then.
Oh, I didn't follow. Did my patronage decrease for?
Yeah, because he converted more of your guys.
Right.
All of your police are leaving. They're joining the rebels.
They're losers.
Yeah. Is that your turn finished then?
Yeah.
That's my turn finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not looking too bad. I think.
So there were some discussions online, like people were saying, Joe, that the government was like OP and everything, and I don't think it's something that we've seen in this game. Like you're definitely starting in a strong position, but I feel like if the reformers and the NPA play well and actually know how to work together a bit, it actually works pretty well.
It can be very tough.
It's government deliberately player problem.
Yeah, but in particular in this one, government is stronger than either of them individually. So in that sense, they are OP, but the game's set up with that deliberately in mind, basically. You need to work together. Now, this is a really nice event.
So the Light Fire movement, I think, is a communist-backed.
That's right. They had civilian activists in the cities who they convinced to start doing more radical, violent actions.
So I don't really mind free sweep and roundup. Is really not going to be helpful for Fred.
Yeah.
3 spaces with an activist towards resistance and place of terror.
So I've got my colonel.
It's tempting, but I don't think it's that great either. So I think I just want to do this. And what I'm actually going to do is I'll strike, and I can combine a strike with a march only. But if I was to strike here, I've got the Android, it actually flops it all the way to resist.
Yep. It activates that gorilla, and you can remove an activist, but there's not one there. Yep.
Yeah. And then I can strike in 2 spaces as well. So if I activate an underground gorilla here in Zamboanga as well, I can turn that into a strike, and it flips it to resist also. No, I'm not doing that to Manila. I'm not going to completely try and take you out of the game, Pierre.
That actually puts all of these activists underground. So these are middle class activists, and as soon as the strike begins, they go, well, I don't know, I'm not sure about that.
Sure.
They go home. So that's it. Cool. And
I
then
think there's any point in me removing an activist there, though.
No.
Or is there?
Then you can march as well.
Maybe there is.
Well, you need to march somewhere. So.
Maybe there is a bit of a sense of doing this.
Yep. So one activist has actually become disillusioned because he hates humanists so much. You don't spend resources for strike. You're doing much. Yeah.
So then I'm marching in underground guerrillas behind, because this is a front organization, right? So
that's correct. Yep.
Now it's not a support. I can do that.
Yeah, nice. So you use the urban activists to clear the way for the thinking. It doesn't quite remove control, but you're getting there.
Once you do, I mean, I could actually spend 1 extra like this, move 1 in here,
little shuffle.
And do the shuffle around, and then I'm taking control off.
Nice.
I've actually got control now. I've got 5 Gs.
Control,
Oh no, sorry, he's got a base, of course, so I'm not in control.
Oh yeah, but it still removes the control. Nice. So
and if I bring in an extra guy here, I do gain control, which I think is
control is not actually very useful for you at all. No, because we're not going to do a final agitate round anyway. There is one event that lets you agitate, but otherwise it doesn't matter. Cool.
Yeah.
Done. Very nice. So
everywhere I want to march.
A sneaky use of a united front by the NPA here. And Peter's looking pretty. Peter's over his victory threshold now, and he's
Yeah.
pretty strongly in control of everywhere except Luzon, basically.
I won't stay.
The problem is, do I use the event? The problem is that it's not going to be useful the sweep. Actually is, but
No, there's actually. I think this protest actually gets removed because there's no. I'll double check that.
Oh, really? Okay.
That is actually a good
Oh
thing.
no, it does say it stays so with the base. Yeah, it does say that. That's fine.
yeah, I'm in a bit of a pickle. What do you think, Joe?
What do I think about your turn?
I'm just
You
thinking.
need to deal with the MPA, or you need to convince the reformers to deal with the MPA.
Yeah.
One of these things.
I think we
So-
probably have to work on it together. That's the thing.
Yep.
So I don't think
You
we have a
could do-
choice.
So you could do a limited sweep and then do an assault on a base next turn potentially.
Yeah, that's what I was
Um,
thinking. But the problem is, I would like to take back control of Davao,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have a base there. I
You
could
could just do a
remove
limited sweep to get back. It would get rid of a lot of his guys though, which is good. So
if I did it
yeah,
in
that could be a
Davao.
nice option.
Yeah, the thing is that I only flip 2 per 2. So I would.
Oh, that's
flip-
true. So you need to send a huge amount there.
Actually, you need only 2 extras because he has 4 at the door.
Yep.
So
No, you would need 4 extra to put all of
yeah,
them.
4 extras. Yeah.
Yep.
And 4
But you
extras.
could afford to send some from Northern Luzon. That's
Yeah, I can send 3 from Northern Luzon and 1 from Manila because I can train in Manila afterwards. And 1 from Manila. And
you
then
will
I would
lose
flip-
control of Manila.
Yeah.
If you do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We're not near the election yet, so
Bold move. So limited sweep back into Davao to try and take back control.
Yeah.
Try and re-establish control there. Cool. That will at least get rid of a lot of Peter's performance.
remove
Radios
from
or-
Manila and an adjacent space.
That's
Very
pretty strong.
tempting. And I have other things to do. Do I want to prevent you from taking? No, I'm going to do this.
It's reformers first. Fred.
Oh,
Me first. Yeah,
Reformers
back
sorry.
off, Fred.
And yeah, the event could be good, but what I would say is that you want to try and protect the space in Manila. Now you've got it. If you do a recruit in Manila now, you can add 6
Yeah, I
activists.
think-
So
I think Fred has
So-
left Manila for
yeah.
the taking.
it might be time to do a big recruit,
A
or
big
even just a
old
limited.
fan.
You could even just do a limited recruit, just to. Yeah,
I don't have so that's what I was going to ask. Is that I
Yeah.
think a limited recruitment is probably the best thing to do here because I don't
then you can
really,
keep the momentum of having a huge force in
Yeah.
Manila. Yeah.
and I'd rather me go at the same time as Peter rather than let him take out all of my
That sounds
stuff.
quite sensible.
That costs you
So
0
limited,
resources.
and then
yeah.
there's 6, right?
And this is kind of this is the kind of nice and quite delicate thing about the balance in this game is that now we see Fred's attention is drawn towards Peter, who's doing much better, and that allows Pierre to kind of sneak through. These are all active now. There's huge protest going on in Manila, as there was historically. So that's good. We're building towards the dramatic 1986 election. Fred's turn. He probably wants to
but
do
actually,
sweep
I'm going
just
to
limited.
do a limited 2.
Makes
So
sense.
I stay here.
You've got your
So
resources.
what actually is
I
that?
can
Sorry?
grab these now.
Just an
And-
assault to remove all of
That's
these.
just
So
an
he's
assault,
kind of
okay.
secured Davao now, and he might be able to get Davao
Yeah.
to support now, and then he'll have 2 spaces
Okay.
kind of secured.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he goes.
Fair
got
enough.
I
the-
have a really cool comment from John Walsh here. Super
Mhm.
interesting.
Oh wow, very exciting. Yeah.
Yes.
So you were involved in this. That's amazing. Yeah.
Have you played the game, John, or are you just watching it right now, or did you had the opportunity to play
No.
it? Just curious about that.
That's-
That's super interesting.
some-
Yeah.
Getting tear gassed in the protest is some real experience there. That's solid credentials. So Fred, you've got perfect opportunity to do all the things you want to do now.
Yeah. The thing is that so if Manila had support, it's not government made set 1 space. Have the game, not played yet. Well, John, in that case, I hope that the stream will help or motivate you to do that. I think I'm gonna go for up only.
Mhm.
Or do I want to go with the limb up?
So the event actually isn't that powerful to you.
No, it's not.
But yeah, limb up could be fine. I think what you want to do is secure Davo at this point.
Secure Davo with a limb up. That would be.
It would be a costly train to set it to support.
Yeah, that's the thing. It would be extremely expensive.
Yep.
Do I want to do that, or do I want to go back into Manila? That's the question.
The problem then is you could just lose Davao again, and all your work there is kind of undone. So
yeah.
Whereas
So
if you build up a big force in Davao, you could get back into Manila later.
Yeah. So I can do a train that would cost me 6, and set it to support, and I can also place 4 extra cubes.
Yeah.
So can I?
The alternative, I guess, would be
Southern
to
Luzon.
Yeah,
is that?
Yeah.
Southern Luzon,
it's
is
still
that still
controlled
under
because
control?
Yeah, because these activists don't
2 to
count.
1 against your base. So
Okay, yes, they need to be active. Okay, cool. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. So Fred, you're going to do that. The other possible option, Fred, would be to also train in Manila and then use Charm to. So it'd be the same cost, but you'd end up with more guys in Manila, but it'd be the full turn. So
yeah, and in here actually, I could do the civic action with the limited train, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so that's
I think that's in terms of the action economy, that's slightly better. So I'm going to do this.
Then you get to support, and that speeds him back down, so he's not winning.
Yeah.
Yep, that's nice. And now you've got these 2 secure areas, which is quite cool. Yep. Okay. Good. But your score is otherwise quite low. So you don't have much.
Okay.
So yeah.
For me, my main target is Cebu here, I think. Because I don't think I'm very effective anywhere else on the map. When it says moving support close to opposition, I can't do anything. I can't bring it back from. Does it bring it to opposition from resist, or is it sort of
when you protest, or from which?
Yeah.
When you protest, it shifts 1 towards. So from resistance, it would go to neutral if you protested somewhere. So you could protest in Cebu. You can't protest in Zamboanga because there's a strike there, but you could also protest in Eastern Mindanao or Southern Luzon.
So that's what I'm saying.
There's actually only one protest marker, so you can only protest in 1 space.
I'll just do a lim up and protest in 1 space then.
Oh, and the next card, the next card
could
be the next card could be the election.
Yes, it could. So you'll do 1 protest in Cebu.
That's right. Do 1 protest.
That's 0 cost, and that sets you up again nicely to.
Yeah.
Isn't there another protest marker here?
There are 2, so you could do 2 protests if you wanted.
Put those on your available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could also do Eastern Mindanao to get more points.
I think I will do Eastern Mindanao. Yeah. If
just in case it's the final turn. Yeah.
So do I have to do a special activity as well now?
You don't have to, but you may as well do.
I may as well do.
Yeah, if you don't want me to have a special activity.
No, of course. Just having
so that costs you 2 resources. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite good. So one thing to say about this game as well, which I think people might not realize at first, is it's very swingy. So we can have these big swings from Peter being over a scoring threshold to their scores being almost equal now. Equal.
Yeah. I'm going to remove in two places. I'm going to remove the 2 cubes from Cebu with the convert.
That removes patronage as well, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I can only do 1 cube from Manila, right? I can't. Yeah. But I can't do. Yeah, I can't do the thing.
So it's a place that you get another guy there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
And that doesn't cost you anything.
No, convert is very powerful, and with convert it can be very hard for the government to hang on to. This is so people. You were saying some people have found government too powerful. We can see what's happening here. But if you don't actively police them, they can get very high scores.
Yeah.
You just let them do their thing.
Just a limited terror here, which removes the protest.
Rude.
That is rude. Rude and just unnecessary. Doesn't even help you.
It is unnecessary. Yeah.
Hey Joe, I think you just decreased.
Actually, sorry. Rather than do it here, I'll do it.
I didn't. I removed just the opposition down. Your resources were on 7. Oh no, they're on 9. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they were on 9. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to do it in Kebu instead.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because
So
then it actually does.
Okay, so your score goes up and Pierre stays. I'll check the scores in a second. Pierre stays at 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for staying on top of that.
Yeah, I'll check it. But there we go. Vice President Bush. So this visit was actually earlier on in 1981, but we can imagine it's maybe a later visit or the impact of it. Bush Senior. Yeah.
Shift Manila and any other city. Well, I think I'm going to do a series of recruits. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for Up Only or Up NSA, but I'm going to recruit in Manila. So that's going to be 4 cubes. That's not enough. Or actually, if I did a sweep, that would be, yeah, anyway. I'm going to do 4 cubes in Zamboanga.
Let's get back control of it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, so that's my 2 recruits. That's going to cost me 4. That puts me at 5. Now the question is, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
I think actually now doing an enrich might be the best place. Yeah.
Because you can't really afford to use the special line relay one anymore.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I could also. I'm wondering. No, yeah, that's it. Then I'm gonna do the. I'm gonna do the enrich, and I'm gonna do it in Zamboanga. So
you need support for doing it.
Oh, I need support.
Yep.
Oh. Ugh. Oh, that sucks. I thought I could actually, weaken Zamboanga. That would have been fun.
You could instead charm in Zamboanga if you just want to. Oh, you don't have any patronage, so you can't actually.
No, I don't have any patronage anymore.
Yep.
So the thing is that, well, I don't really have a choice. I'm gonna have to, enrich because I don't care about the aid, honestly, at this point. That's a bit opening that, but don't really have a choice, and I get 4 patronage.
Puts you up to 10.
So big.
So you're in a position now where if you take back control of Manila, you'll be pretty solid for.
Yeah, if I have time for that. That's the thing. Yeah.
Then it's Peter's
So
hedging the limited action to
limited rally into Northern Luzon, obviously.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this in these final few cards. There's this delicate balance of choosing when to take a full turn or whether to just do the limiteds, waiting to hopefully get the final action. Bayan.
Okay, so that is not that useful for me.
No. No, you can shift one place, but that's not so useful.
Yeah, I can do that with other things though. I think I might want to do sort of protesting and canvassing just to get more opposition everywhere. It's frustrating there's only 1 protest marker left, but that's fine.
So canvas, you can't mix with protest actually, and you could only only protest in here at a minute. So you may just want to canvas and assemble then.
I think I'll just canvas and assemble. Yeah.
Or you could actually persuade. So persuade lets you remove a.
I've not done that yet.
Yeah. Lets you remove 1 gorilla per every 3 activists you have in a space. But it now might be a time when it'd be useful actually.
But I don't have anywhere where I have 3 activists.
You do in Manila, and actually persuade has a secondary effect of flipping a strike to a protest. So you could persuade in Zamboanga, turn this strike into a protest, which would then remove Fred's control again.
And how do I persuade in Zamboanga? Because I don't have 3 activists there, do
I? You don't. So you don't need 3 activists. You just need any number of activists. So it also flips the strike and then also removes a gorilla for every 3 activists. So you wouldn't remove a gorilla, but you would turn the strike to a protest.
Flip the strike.
Yep.
No, I do like that.
So that could be quite good. That compared.
I'm going to do canvas and persuade, I think.
Nice.
Great. So I'm going to canvas and Kebu. To remove.
It's going to be a pretty quick game. Yep.
And persuade in Zamboanga. So
Yep.
flip
And
the
Manila,
strike.
maybe?
And Manila, yeah, of course. So that's two resources.
2 resources, yep. And that kind of made you a bit safer in Manila now, because
Yeah.
Peter can't sneaky terror you.
I just want to shore that control a bit more.
Yep.
Cool.
Actually, Peter was set up for a really sneaky strike in Manila.
Yeah.
Shut up, Joe.
I had spotted that, Peter.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Surprised.
surprised. I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised with myself.
Oh, some nice more commentary from John about some of these events,
Yeah.
which is cool to see. That's interesting. Yep.
Peter, what are you doing? Did we lose Peter? Oh no,
No,
he's
I'm
still
here.
moving. Yeah.
He's still here, yeah. He's just fuming. Yep. Oh, so actually, this is cool. So John's confirming what I joked about earlier, which is that Bayan, the civilian wing of MPA, was able to extort money from businesses and then use it to buy weapons from the Philippine army, which is very funny. Okay, so that's nice. That was actually happening. It was a very dysfunctional state by the end, I have to say. Yeah. So one thing I'm interested in, John, was so in your kind of civilian perspective in the 80s, there was the presence and activity of the MPA quite like a big thing? Did that feel like very, very present? We'll wait and see. John hears this.
So someone just threw away my government resources here, which I think is kind of mean. I don't know why
What was
it was in
It was on
Visayas.
5.
Yeah, but why
it was
was
on
it in
5. I don't know what
Visayas?
happened.
I'm a bit unsure.
There's some kind of lagging thing. So Peter's just doing more terror in Eastern Mindanao. Yeah.
Yeah, them up again.
Yep. Cool. Good.
Hoping for a big turn.
Not the election. Not the election yet. One more turn.
Mini
Snap
election,
election
yeah.
announced. That's cool that
Yeah.
this has just come up now, because it is indeed the snap election which is coming up. But one of the
It's
next two
been-
cards.
This has
50%
been really
down.
unfortunate for me because I just haven't had eligibility after hitting my peak.
Yeah.
You've been
So
at the
you
back
guys have just
each
been able
time.
to
Yeah.
chip away at me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think probably what happened, Peter, is you had more of the first eligible cards in the first half, and then ended up with fewer in the second half.
Could well be.
It's tricky.
Yeah,
So, Fred, you're announcing the snap election.
Yep.
are you doing?
And I'm going to do a couple of sweeps.
Yep.
I'm going to
Yep.
sweep
Perfect
here,
time to sweep and try to get back control of
Oh,
this.
man.
You're going
Yeah.
to need a lot,
And-
guys.
Yeah.
But, yep.
take back control here,
Is that enough? 8, 9. Yep, just enough.
Yeah. and then I'm
Count.
going to sweep in.
Oh, that doesn't add. It doesn't add support. Right, it just adds control. Yep. Cool.
Yeah. I'm going to sweep here.
Nice. Fred is cunningly sees the final, possibly final turn here. The big effect.
So
Yeah.
that's 2 sweeps, and that's all of my money. Now what I can do is,
Might be time for more enriching.
it might be time for more enriching. The problem is, I can only do it in Davao. So that's probably where I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it in Davao, lose 1 aid. Set it to neutral, which, because I don't really care, and then get 4. So that puts me at 8. And puts me at extra 4.
19. So you're over your victory threshold now. So
Whew.
that's how you get these huge swings from losing dead last to the front line there. I think that was a gain of 11 points in one action.
Yes, 7 plus 4. Yeah.
Very big. And Peter, can you do anything to stop it now?
So I can use the event to place a gorilla and then terror into Val, so I can shift it to my favor, which puts me 2 off my threshold.
It's probably
Then
your
I'm just
best way of raising your score. Yeah.
desperation, or I pass or act basically in the hopes that there is another card. So there's a 50% chance that I will be able to act again.
Yep.
And then probably 50-50 that I will act first. If I do act first, I've pretty much got, I think, the win with striking in Manila.
True. Yep. That's
So
whether
we
you
did-
play it safe or
So I'm going to gamble, I think. Do them.
John has an interesting question, and I don't think he was here when we were talking about the Mo and the MNLF. And maybe you just want to add a bit of context, Joe, regarding the...
Yeah, so in an earlier version of the game, which covered a wider span, so I think there's some of the 60s and 70s as well, there was MNLF active in Mindanao, and they were paired with MPA because problem with MNLF in a game of the whole Philippines is they were mostly just active. Wait for now, and we'll see in a second, Peter. Mostly only active in the southern island. So yeah, there was a combined faction with both of them. But then I think with this choice to focus just on this shorter time period of the early 80s, they decided to remove MNLF, and they appear in a few events now, which basically help MPA with ambushes against the government. So I was saying earlier, it's not that they were allied, but they had kind of similar interests in fighting the government. So that effect been rolled into some MPA activities in Mindanao, basically. Okay,
now
so let's see. Drum roll.
Was the Politburo correct in assessing there was a revolutionary situation in the Philippines? They were not.
Peter, what did you do with your final action? Did you rally in?
No, he did a terror attack in Northern Luzon.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Man.
Cool. I needed a strike on the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is painful. This is
but Peter,
really
you
bad.
wouldn't with an extra turn. You wouldn't have been. Oh, you were going to march and strike. I see what.
Yeah,
you're
I would
scheming
march
for.
and strike.
Yeah.
And flip that, and then my act of desperation requires a strike.
Wait, stop. We're not going to show these yet. Well, it's not going to do anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to see the scores. So Fred's on 1, Peter is on -1, and Pierre is on 1, 2, -3. I'm just going to double check this is right. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep.
That's
And
4,
Peter's got 4.
Yeah, because we were going to do the active
5,
desperation in
7, 8,
order.
9, 10.
Yeah.
11, 12. Yeah, that's right. And then Fred is on 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 8 here. He's on 19 exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna do. So Pierre's active desperation first.
Cool. Boom. For more opposition than MPA bases on the map, set 1 resistance space to neutral.
So it's sadly not going to help fight Fred. So
No,
in this election, the MPA announced an election boycott.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I should go first for the act of desperation, Joe.
No. Is it that right? Is it the winner?
Yeah, it's
the highest score?
lowest margin first.
Okay, sure. So you do yours.
Yeah.
No. Lowest margin means lowest score. Yeah. So he goes first.
I understood it
so he
differently. Yeah.
Yep. He sets 1 resistance space to neutral.
Okay. Yeah, I can just do that. Oh, to neutral, sorry.
Yeah, it's a neutral. So that just hurts MPA slightly, which is not what you need to win here. And then Peter, I think, already announced is the strike one, which is not really anything.
Would have hit patronage for 2. So if I had a strike,
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were gambling. This march and then strike would have been huge and would have won you the game. So
yeah, I only needed 1 first eligibility since basically this whole propaganda after my first one, and I didn't get 1.
Yeah. Fred, what's yours?
Well, I'm gonna hurt NPA a bit more. 1 space at opposition with the government base and control to support. So that's Northern Luzon going back to my side, and that's -2. So that means that
Peter is at resist actually. So not.
It's from opposition. So you're hurting me. Fred.
Oh, you're right. It's from opposition.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can do. You can only do
smash
Manila. Actually. Yep.
I'm gonna do Manila, so I'm gonna smash Manila. I'm gonna smash the reformers. Sorry about that.
Oh no,
So,
this is disgusting.
yeah, the government takes advantage of a chaotic situation to clamp down in several areas, and probably the middle class protesters here decide that the threat from the MPA is bigger than the threat from the government, basically, and rally behind Marcos in the election there. Or it at least looks like they rally behind, because Marcos managed to frame the election exactly. So Comelec was a very correct government organization doing the counting. So I think what happened after Comelec announced Marcos' victory, there was a recount, which got Corazon Aquino winning. And by that point, Marcos, there was all these huge protests, and Marcos had basically fled the country. He was offered sanctuary by Reagan and went to Hawaii at first with huge amounts of money.
Did they get all of the shoes with them?
No, the shoes stayed, because when the protesters went into the presidential palace, they found all the shoes.
Sad. Did they find all of them, or just the one?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Just the ones in the palace. I mean.
Yes. Yes.
So estimates of the Marcos family, the lower estimates are $5 to $10 billion, and it goes up to as high as $30 billion. And this is 1980s money, so
it's
just
insane.
Huge amount. And that is how Fred won. In fact, he was doing quite badly on control, and then just got a huge amount of patronage in the final few rounds there. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Great, but it was awesome. So Pierre, it was your first not 2-player con game. So this one is a bit different from the others. But how did you feel?
I really liked it. I felt like I'm surprised at how how much the theme shone through.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that, because it did feel like, and obviously I had tons of help from Joe and Peter, but I did feel like I was sort of understanding what the reformers were trying to do by the end of it, and that was reflected through the gameplay, and that surprised me how effective that was. Yeah.
So just to be clear, you were in a tricky position because Peter and I playtested the game quite a bit. So even if I hadn't played it for a while, I think Peter played it a lot more than I did. But you came with a slight disadvantage for sure.
Just a slight one. Totally unique versus.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's nice about it as an introductory game, I think, as well, is that this standard scenario is so short that you can play it in like 2 hours. If you have a whole afternoon, you could just play twice, or you could play over, two sessions over a couple of days, and then you really feel like you've got a feel for the game quite quickly.
It's a really tight game. Yeah, it goes really fast. That's also something that I really like it, because it has a pretty strong arc. Like, you do play over the course of a couple of hours, and you see factions changing their dynamic over a short span of time. I mean, of playing time, but still like completely manageable, 3-player, accessible. For me, that's the if I want to get people introduced to a multi-factional gun game, for me that becomes the clear option, way beyond Cuba Libre, which is actually a lot more complex than people expect. It's just that it's smaller. Whereas this one is just like, if someone said I want to try a con game, I would use this one without a doubt.
And I read through the rulebook as well before playing, and I found that it was really much easier to digest than I thought it would be.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I think you have slightly more rules overhead in the sense that there's protests and strikes and that kind of thing. But what it does is, with very limited actually rules overhead, gives you so many more options. It's much more interesting strategically, I would say, than Cuba Libre. Personally.
I think that Cuba Libre is interesting strategically. Like, there is a bit more depth to it than you expect at first. There is quite a few things that you can do with the factions. I think it's in that regard, I think it's a more, maybe not complex, but a deeper game than people would expect.
I think that's right, and I think one thing people might criticize about People Power as well is it can be very chancy, right, in those final few cards. I don't think that's a bad thing, because you do need to position yourself well for those final few cards. If you haven't played well up until then, you're not going to be in the running. And honestly, if everyone's played well, then the last few turns being chancy, I think, is absolutely fine. How else are you meant to decide who wins?
So Fred was in a very, very weak position, but because he'd secured Northern Luzon and then to Bow in the south, that gave him the chance of, the opportunity came, he seized that opportunity and he took it. And he took the win. If I had got a first eligibility and blocked him from being able to get some of that patronage, then I would have probably won. But equally, Pierre, very well placed to steal a lot of my resistance away. If Fred was lower, he could have gone anyway. He
could have gone, in any direction, definitely.
I really like how the swinginess, feels deserved rather than
exactly.
random.
And that's the key. Like, I feel slightly stung by the fact, because I felt like I put in a good performance. And it's like, it's not just like, the game just decided and it swung away from me. It's like, that was like half.
And on top of all of that, it's Fred who won, So
it's like I was close. I was close.
The worst outcome possible.
Slightly outplayed. Well, it's good from the point of view, I would say, it's like I care about the outcome of this game. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's like, slightly feel that sting of not winning, which often I don't care if I win or not in games. So. It's a kind of bittersweet kind of feeling is what I'm trying to say here, really.
But it was really, really fun. Thanks to both of you for playing the game on stream. I think, Peter, it was your first time also. I say also, it wasn't Pierre's first time, but it was your first time, Peter.
It's my first time playing. I have previously promoted stuff on the Content GMT podcast,
Spicy Fish,
which I didn't go anywhere because my co-producer, things happened in real life.
Rejecting responsibility. Like, you could have done something about it, Peter.
Well, I got involved with the Content Jam instead. That's what took over.
So it was great having you for first appearance. I hope it won't be the last. We did see you also on the PunchCon debrief video where we physically forced you to.
And you described me as your child, which was I need to get you back, and I failed to get you back. I failed to get you back this turn.
So I'll give you some opportunities. And just one note that I didn't say, and I will add it in the description. This was a review copy that was provided by GMT. They are not paying or anything, so we can also be mean to the art and stuff like this. But they did provide the review copy.
If
so
Jason's watching, we're not billing you for this, so don't worry.
Yeah, that's
Joe
fine.
might be,
And-
actually. I can't speak for
No,
Joe.
but I'm saying it because there is actually quite a discussion around should you say when you get a review copy that should you tick the box about paid promotion and everything. And my point is that a review copy is a tool for working on those contents, like for making reviews and everything. And I'm actually going to release a review of a GMT game that's going to be pretty negative, and I got a review copy for it, so I don't think that it really matters. And it's just a way for content creators to do that. And I clarify, I don't accept money from publishers. I've been proposed quite a few times to make some content. I am in a very comfortable position that makes it possible for me to not care about money from publishers. So I want review copies and I aggressively seek them, but it doesn't change the fact that if I don't like a game, I would say so, and I don't consider it as payment because I'm also in a comfortable position that makes it so that if I wanted a game, I would just buy it. So that doesn't really matter. It's just that I see this as an easier way for me to work on those pieces of content. But I just wanted to clarify this for people to know the position on this. So when I get review copies, I will not tick the box. I will tell you, add it in the description if I don't forget. And if I forget, it would be just really in good faith. I would try to do it as much as I can. The only thing that I would consider something that would be close to actually receiving payment, and in that case, I would tick that box, is if it's a very special edition of something, like a limited edition. Like, I don't know, if I had, for example, the War of the Ring with the painted minifigures in the wooden box and everything. This goes way beyond just getting a review copy, and then I would say that. So that's yeah. Just wanted to clarify this. We had the discussion with Liz recently, and I thought it would make sense to mention that. Well, I think
almost
we're
like you're feeling dirty from your behavior in this game, Fred.
Yes, I'm getting
Peddling all the
patronage.
GMT review copies, exactly. Yeah.
Enrich
Yeah.
and passionate.
Oh, and actually, yeah, Joe is saying something really funny. So I was playing with Luke the other day, and you had this list of coin games. He was so upset because Luke has a bit of OCD, like me, and he was looking at the site. It's like, why isn't there the number? There is no
They
number
should release
here.
an upgrade pack with the stickers to go on the site.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting. Really upsetting to
I
someone.
think we're gonna put that at Jason Carl's door, the King of Barata. So
This is shocking.
it's not his fault, but
Yeah, I think this box is a disgrace. That's I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna no, it's not a disgrace. It's like this is what I think about this box. This is what it could have been so much better. No, but it's fine. It's just that it could have been better for sure.
Yeah. While you were talking, we were getting some nice historical photos from John. So that the Corazon Aquino government turned out to be right in his words, and we're not going to censor things for the US audience here. And I think they turned out to be quite corrupt. And yeah, as he said here, Volko Marcos just won an election recently in the Philippines. So that's the son of Ferdinand
Which
Marcos.
is insane.
So
yeah.
it keeps on coming around. And
Filipino politics is dynastic. So like that guy I had, the Labour leader, I'm pretty sure is like the son of, or family relation of the previous communist leadership from the previous generation.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's dynastic in the US too, so I mean, it makes sense that those two countries are so close to each other. They have a very similar perspective when it comes to democracy. Like, very loose concept. A lot of money, a lot of dynasties. So that's yeah.
It's
say that
starker in
John likes
Philippines,
the
I would say it's starker.
Well, you've got a lot of seniors and juniors in the US presidents going on.
Oh
so,
yeah, you do,
Probably in
and
the
they do,
Senate
and
as
they
well,
do
right?
love. And when you look at the financing system over there, they do love money.
Yeah.
It's like, so something to keep in mind. Yeah, sorry for American viewers, but yeah, you live in a banana republic, more or less. So that's just the way it is.
I mean, Joe and I are from the UK, right?
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah,
We're not corrupt.
literally a
We're fundamentally
constitutional
competent.
monarchy. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
all of us are in civilized countries. So that's okay.
I'd be careful saying something like that.
No, not very UK.
I wouldn't go so far. Yeah.
Yes.
There's actually been a huge amount of enriching going on with the most recent government in the UK. So maybe they're up to the Ferdinand Marcos tricks. I don't know.
When you live in
And
Bristol, Joe, you see the effects of charm. So whatever.
Yes. And before we
We
leave,
just see it in Wretched in Glasgow.
I just wanted to say a massive thank you to John for the historical context. It was great to have actually. That's the thing that is cool about some of those games that are pretty close to the period that we're covering is that you might have some people who are actually went through. We had similar kind of discussion, but with people talking to their grandparents or parents about the British way. But having someone like John on the stream and actually talking about his own experience regarding those specific events and having someone who went through it, I think that's really, really awesome. So it was really great to have you, John, in the chat and give us some of this context. So thanks a lot for that. It was great. Thanks, everyone. It was an awesome pyjama stream. No pyjama streams next week, unfortunately, but there will be one after that, and we will be playing Mess at Any Cost with Russ. So pyjama streams are still on, and this Sunday at a more watchable time for our US viewers. So I think it's going to be at 9 p.m. UK, so that should be 4 p.m. EST. No, 8 p.m. UK, so 3 p.m. EST. We will have a teach and play of 1979 Revolution in Iran with Dan Bullock. And then on Tuesday evening, we have an interview with Jason Carr and Jason Matthews to talk about the future of the Twilight Struggle series. So subscribe, stay tuned to what we do here, and soon after that we will have the new episode of We Intend to Move on Your Works, the podcast on the American Civil War. I was watching Pierre like this, like being all grumpy, like he's not talking about the podcast.
And what next? Yeah.
Yes, and the podcast should come hopefully before I go on holidays in France, so I will publish it. The
Fred,
problem
when you speak to Jason, can you just check the South Asian monsoon exists, because I'm supposed to be helping with the development and like I haven't seen a single.
Okay, but you need to be in the chat and ask questions, but I will ask some questions. The thing that is going to potentially impact my editing of the podcast is that I just bought a few booster starter, like Kickstart booster decks of the Lord of the Rings edition of Magic, and I'm sorry, I will have to play a bit of Magic over the weekend and not do some editing. So we'll see about that. Reese, I really feel bad for you, but that's just the way it is.
It's a tough life. Tough life.
But I know you understand. I know you understand.
I do understand, but it's a tough life.
Yeah, good, great. But it was awesome to have all of you. Have a great weekend when you get there, and thanks everyone for being here. Thanks. Bye bye.
See you guys. Bye bye.